Welcome back, everyone, for the final day here of China Ascension. It's the grand finals. Everything is on the line. Everything is at stake. I'm Charlotte, joined by Zobi, and we are going to be seeing you through the end of what has been an incredible tournament so far, Zobi.
Absolutely. The end of an era to the last official Ascension for the time being, with Riot announcing ecosystem reworks in 2026 with direct access to champions and who knows what in 2027. But again, this playoffs bracket has been so entertaining. I got to be a part of the upper semis, the first round of lowers. I know you were there for a lot of the group stage as well, Charlotte. And honestly, having these two teams, I think we're the two expected teams to be here. Am I right? Like Rare Adam, right? This is their third Ascension Grand Finals in a row, yet to win. And Dragon Ranger Gaming, right, made champions, was beat out by G Gaming, so forced to defend their slot here in Ascension yet again.
Yeah, and for Rare Atom as well, they've gone here without dropping a map. They've been undefeated, and again, for the third year in a row, they've made it to the grand finals through the upper bracket. This is an organization that, despite the roster changes, despite everything that has changed, has maintained that consistency just near the top, but has never quite been able to get there.
Oh, absolutely. It's been off of players like G, players like Satoshi, just having like insane performance across the stage. Outside of that, for Dragon Ranger Gaming, it's been players like Vukushu, players like Spirit Z1, and Achman as well in the playoffs specifically has just warmed up insanely well, while those two hero players were kind of struggling to show up in the server at times. But since they got to that lowers, they've been definitely stepping up where it mattered and having that level of consistency.
Yeah, DRG, I mean, it feels like the favorite kind of never actually ends up winning these Ascension finals. And I mean, with the stories that both of these teams have had, you know, Rare Atom, maybe not the biggest highlights coming into the tournament, but have really excelled coming into Ascension and getting to the grand final. And obviously DRG are DRG. It feels like, I mean, which team is the favorite here? My mind still kind of goes to DRG, as it has been through the whole tournament, but that early loss in playoffs did have me a little bit worried. But I mean, since then they've looked incredible, save for like one map yesterday, which was a little bit shaky. That was Abyss. They've been looking really strong, so this should be an incredible game. I'm hoping for 5 maps. Let's just say that.
I think this is one of those in grand finals where I literally could see it going any which way. I could see a 3-0 blowout for either team. I could see a 5 map for like we got yesterday. But all in all, I think there are a few things just to pay attention for to see, okay, what is that win going to look like? What would kind of prepare it for those kind of results and those kind of conclusions? I think for the side of Dragon Ranger Gaming, if Spirit Z1 and Vukushu are locked in, if they are just dominating the server, I think it goes towards a 3-0 kind of trend, you know, limit approaching their 3-0 percentile. And for Rare Atom, it's very similar for players like G, players like Nono in my mind, actually, that have had insane performances individually. But all in all, I do think that it's going to be a very competitive series.
Yeah, it hopefully should be, and again, there's so many storylines coming into this, but one thing that's really been intriguing us here has been the kind of map veto selection. Obviously, Rare Atom, they get here through the upper bracket, so they are able to ban 2 maps before any sort of picks happen. So they get to dictate which 5 maps get played in the series. Obviously, then the order of those maps is decided by both teams, but there's a lot of questions even still around what we're actually going to be seeing here, because obviously Rare Atom haven't lost a map. We don't really have the biggest sample size. They've played 4 series, and their permaban has been Abyss. It's been first ban every single time, but that's the map where DRG looked shaky on yesterday. So some things in the sort of Rare Atom map veto might be doing DRG a favor here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you mentioned, Abyss feels like a gimme, which already does DRG a favor to a degree, since they didn't have too many reps on it, one good, one bad. And for me, I would take the safe route and ban out Vine, right? Like, yeah, it's a map that DRG doesn't have reps on, but that's scarier sometimes to prep against, right? That's kind of what Octagonal Disposition Gaming, right, hinged on, right, when they kind of had Abyss come out, and then suddenly, you know, DRG comes out and bodies them on Abyss. So I think Bind is a risk versus I think you'd be more comfortable on a map like Crowd that you may typically ban. But because they flirted it, it could also be on the table. But I want to circle back to these teams because I feel like unlike some of the previous matchups like Rare Atom versus any questions even versus DRG, I feel like these two teams have such similar playstyles and similar just mirrored players. For example, Satoshi and Achman here, both flexible, both playing roles that just suit their playstyle in general and are perfect follow-ups as well for the primary duelists as well. And if they are both online, they are both the mischief makers so that Spirit Z1, so that G can just shine. And you can see literally it's so like just close, right, between the two. Just like very like almost single digit numbers between them in every single stats department.
Yeah, it's so close. One thing that really interests me about Ackerman is that agent pool, right? We'll obviously get into it as these maps, as we start to see them play out, but he's been playing Clove a lot, looks actually like possibly one of the best Cloves globally. He's very, very good on that agent, but we saw some Waylay gameplay yesterday that was fairly shaky, if I'm going to be honest, but we've seen him excel on that agent in the past, and occasionally a raise comes through as well. So there's so many questions that we have. Like I need to see if we do get that sort of Waylay gameplay coming back in, for instance on Haven, which is a map that we saw yesterday. Then we've got to see that's what it's like. Abyss, maybe not, but we just got to see a better performance coming out of Ackerman on that duelist role, on that follow-up, because we know it's where he has been so successful in the past. But the walkout's coming back through. The crowd has returned to the VCTCN arena in Shanghai as these teams are ready to take the stage. It's Rare Atom versus DRG, and Toby, I'm so
Gorgeous
damn
trophy.
excited as we see DRG come out, and yeah, that trophy is looking incredible.
Absolutely, and I mean a comfortable environment for Dragon Ranger Gaming. Played here almost all of last season. Next season, obviously VCT China going on a little bit of a stage tour for the year, but here we go. Players one at a time getting their glory, getting their day onto the spotlight. Vukushu up first, Achman next. The player we were just talking about could be a win condition for this team. Circling back to Vukushu, so he doesn't get missed. Had a wavy kind of playoffs bracket, but came out full force. I think he even said, "I have something to prove after my missed performance on maps like Lotus," and has been knocking it out of the park since. And then Nick, right, that player alongside Vukushu, who was in this team, the only two, by the way, that were in that 2023 Ascension match up against Rare Atom that robbed them of that spot then.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that game is you look at that 2023 Rare Atom squad and you're like, hang on, there's Viva and Martin and people that are currently, you know, on that XLG core that beat DRG at Champions to send them back down here. So all of those intertwined storylines are coming in to this moment, and Spirit Z1, as we see him walk out here, is just so damn good at Valorant. It is ridiculous. The shots that he's hitting, he's taking some sometimes fairly ill-advised gunfights and just wins. He's been hitting some of the most ridiculous shots I think I've seen all year, and it's been in this tournament, and then flexing to bring out the rear as well. The IGL, the captain, is
Sleeper
just
Agent
doing some incredible work. And yeah, Sleeper Agent, he seems
Maps
to be
like
like
Sunset,
always
crazy.
the last player left alive, but hey, he's clutching up quite a few times for this squad, and he's doing the calling from that controller role as well. So with the coach Nathan D behind him, this DRG squad, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, absolutely. But boy, oh boy, do they have a team that is coming in with organizational just tenacity behind them, right? We talked about the head-to-head, the one that could combat Spirit Z1 on this server. That is G, picking up the operator on the attack, the defense, any map on this yard. It does not matter. They will be a threat that you have to flush out no matter what. They will be a threat in the server, a first blood menace. I mean, they're saying they're number one, and they have proven it every step of the way. Like, statistically the highest rated alongside Spirit Z1 so far.
And then Satoshi, like we've been saying, he's that counterpart to Ackerman on the other side of the stage, and he's been putting up incredible numbers throughout this tournament as well. This guy, he's he's just been performing, and we just need to see. You know, this is the first time this team are playing a best of 5, and perhaps this is where DRG have that advantage, because even players like Midnight, who has been a big game player and a big impact player for this Rare Atom squad, they've not played in front of the crowd, they've not played in a best of 5. This is all a step up for this squad from what we've seen so far.
Well, if anybody is experienced in best of 5s, it is just Midnight, right? On that team, even last year, one of the few still remaining with this squad after Noman, Udo freeing all went on to tier 1 in Pacific in VCT China. But Nono's another one of those sleeper agents, very, very similar to Flexen. Push him up against a wall, he will perform. You will find those impossible multi-kills and clutches. And Guron, I feel like for a scan initiator, has some insane stats alongside just providing that pivotal information that his team needs, that, Midnight needs to call around. So I've been super, super impressed by his ability as well to not get overwhelmed with his role and still have that individual level performance.
Yeah, this is going to be an incredible match between these two squads. And let's just set the stakes again, because it's a best of 5. This is the grand final of China Ascension. The loser here goes home with nothing, essentially. The winner is going to play in the Tier 1 VCT circuit for the whole of 2026. The next time we see them on a VCT stage is going to be that triple elimination kickoff shenanigans that we get to experience next year. So the fist bumps come on in. We are getting ready to see the map veto here as well, and there's so many questions that we had, right, about what maps do Rare Atom ban. Abyss seems like a gimme, but do they go for the bind instead? We get an Ascent ban straight away, and Corrode is our first map. This is interesting. Very interesting.
I am agreeing with it being interesting. We were thinking it would be a Corrode ban, if any. Ascent to me is so interesting because I feel like that was one of the maps that DRG really struggled on. Even though it was a close, overtime affair against any questions in that upper bracket semifinals that sent them to the lowers, it looked shaky. Some of their star players, like Spirit Z1, were getting absolutely bodied, but clearly they have fears about that map and their own confidence on it. I am curious about Rare Atom pushing through the buy and pick, guaranteeing it here instead of pushing it as a map 4 or map 5, floating it like they have historically in the best of 3s as an option that may not get played, but that does make it seem like they are prepared, they are ready to play it, and they're not scared of not having that material to anti-strat Dragon Ranger gaming on it against.
Yeah, Corrode is a very interesting map here too, because some of these maps we just haven't seen Rare Atom on, but we have seen them on Corrode. It was a very close win the last time around though, and they've second banned it twice, so to pick it here is certainly a bit of a question mark here for me. But they do get 2 of their top 3 maps of the Lotus and the Sunset in the pool, but those are also DRG's top 2 maps. So this is what we were saying earlier about these map pools for both of these squads. They match up so incredibly well. That's why this game should be as tight as we hope it is, because these teams have the exact same map pool. They've both been impressing. Obviously, we know the caliber of DRG. We know what they can do. They made it to champions, for crying out loud. And they've just got one more best of 5 where they failed to win out last time in stage 2. This time they have an opportunity to win the grand final. That's the only way we see them next year. So jumping into Corrode here, Ackerman is on that Neon like we know him to be. Spirit Z1, the ever persistent Yoru, but a Gecko coming out from Nick. And on the other side, we've got a Chamber from Satoshi. Those are the sort of agents that I've got my eye on.
A little bit of a composition swap as well, if I'm not mistaken, on the side of Rare Atom, actually, as well. Away from that double controller, Midnight's usually on the Viper, so playing the double initiator as well with the Fade is peculiar to say the least, especially because it's double kind of scan info initiators. It's not like, oh, there's a secondary Flash follow-up. I think it is because they do have that really strong Yoru pick with G, but I also think it's going to give them a lot of flexibility and more so like, okay, if one of them does fall early, then they still are going to kind of have that backup, that support. And I mentioned how Guran is a little bit of a fragger in the server despite being on an initiator role, so I am hoping that it will kind of just embolden him to take some more fights, and that'll be something that they can lean into so that G doesn't have to uplift this entire team in the kill department.
Yeah, I will just say that I think Viper is possibly one of my favorite agents on this map. She's very, very strong, but not seeing her here. This DRG comp, however, is an upgrade from what we saw in Stage 2 playoffs. Blackman falls early, no longer on the Clove here, but the Neon himself. And Satoshi's found a second. The Headhunter from this chamber is just so deadly in pistol rounds. It's been perfect headshots. G up close as well. Spiritsy1 teleporting through. He's found the first, but still 4 players left in front of him. 20 points of health to his name.
Little fake rewrap. We're finally taking the dive, and unfortunately way up when there's a little high-low and even G ready to pop and swing and get the trade. Not much you're going to be able to find there to salvage the pistol round, and that's the exact dynamic that we're going to be looking forward to, right? Satoshi setting up G for success, whether it's on the duelist, whether it's on the chamber, you know, feigning out the presence here with the Headhunter so that he can swing from this cheeky little corner. Either way, very, very clean side hold there over towards the B side, but it's a pistol, so it doesn't define it too much other than this really strong second round buy-up. The Outlaw for Satoshi, characteristic of a chamber, the rest to complement it as well. Curious to see DRG still kind of going for this early challenge towards Satoshi, and I feel like that just means it's going to be farming zone unless the spy cam can force him off the angle.
The fact that Dizzy that forces him away from this duck cover as well from flexing means that not much that Satoshi can do in that spot. Sends a couple pot shots through the smoke and teleports away, but DRG have decided they don't want any of that B site either. Located the weaker side of the map here, A does have less presence and players, but Shay, with this Guardian, be able to get something done. DRG group up.
Now one flash. TP still active for the time being. There you go. Don't want to give that weapon over alongside the site. Also have Midnight to play off of, who has relinquished his hold mid because Guren was able to rotate back over. Now it's just spray through the dark cover, try to anchor this site, deny them that yard space. Paranoid to force the issue, but it's a spray down from yard, just no visibility, no nothing until they finally get to elbow, and that's where G is able to shine, and the rest of the reinforcements that rotate over clean up the rest.
Yeah, I like the idea from DRG. You spot the stronger side, but they just didn't really have the impetus, didn't have the, I guess, utility or guns as well to force themselves through that choke point there, which means that Rare Atom, they just get to clean up with the better weapons. And with the fights being taken dry, there's not much that DRG can do in that spot. Now they've got the guns and the weaponry.
Do you see Vukashu, though, without a weapon? That's peculiar.
This is so Vukashu, honestly. He's been having some of the strangest economy I think I've ever seen throughout this game. He likes to go for some rifle no shield buys, which when it's working and that risk pays off, it looks incredible, but when things start to fail, it does look a little bit silly. At the very least, he's now going to have a gun to pick up because Spiritsy1 has fallen there as the opening pick.
Yeah, DRG is a very simplified side exec thus far. This round makes sense since you have the better weapons, don't want to spread yourself thin and let this bonus piece you apart. And this time it feels like Rare is, for the most part, going to respect it. They're wary of this kind of link push out. Obviously, that's where we saw Guren and Nono come from in the previous round. For now, they're just kind of waiting for the entire team, including Satoshi, to rotate over before execing all together, waiting for this go button.
Hackerman's trying to play ahead of this though, but he's been flashed out. Vukashu there with a trade and flexing as well. Just locking things down on the push towards these sites.
Wow.
DRG clean things up. If you ignore that opening pick, you get through everything else in a flawless fashion.
I really liked the buddy system that they had set up there. 2 to handle Yard and Link, 2 to handle that backside crane position, right? And his players have really strong just appeasal utility. A relay bolt from the Neon, from Achman, you know, Paranoia. He's there over towards Link, and just the tag team as well between Flexin was really, really nice too. So very, very well done. in that regard, especially after losing a key player like Spirit Z1. That's the benefit of the double duelist. You lose one spear, you sharpen the other.
Yeah, this is where Pomp really shines, particularly on the attacking side. An area of weakness perhaps you'd expect would be the Gecko, especially as the sole initiator for this squad, but right now DRG not looking like they're in the worst position. Spirit has dimensional drift. Yeah, he absolutely has, even with that death in the previous.
Yeah.
He's just going in towards this site. The Dizzy over the top is able to get the kill onto Jay, but Guran Odin in the side has been able to take things down. Ackerman as well falling to Nono. It's isolated. His 1v1's being taken now. Nick through the smoke gets that one, and Vukashu, he's creeping in. Base has been seeded though. Nono dipping away. 2 players on this flank for Rare Atom.
Yeah, so interesting, right? They flipped things. They had Satoshi in the op towards A. They looked like they were playing retake on B, and then the 2 players refought in from top mid. Now with the trip destroyed, they know that these presence is coming from main. Do they know it's 2? Do they know it's the op? It doesn't matter. Flexen can handle both. The second one about to swing, but with 30 HP, he's still able to find all of them. The remaining forces on site easily take care of the loose and Nono, who we saw disengage into that elbow position earlier on. Looking fairly nice, even with the contact engagements that the DRG are taking in Spirit Z1. That opener was huge as well.
Yeah, this from Rare Atom here. Satoshi and Midnight just not quite on the same page, and they're taking that fight dry as well. It means that Flexin, despite the low health, has the perfect advantage there. You're on LAN now. You don't have that Pika's advantage like we might have seen earlier on in the season. Obviously, all of Ascension has been played on LAN, but still a couple things to iron out for Rare Atom, and the coach is not particularly happy with the way that round panned out either, and they want to iron out any problems here. We were saying that the Rare Atom timeouts are either way earlier or way later than you'd expect, and here, after just 4 rounds, we see the first one coming through. And honestly, I don't actually mind it, though. Like, I think you've got some issues to iron out. You want to get as many rounds here as possible. This is your first pick. Like, you've got to be winning here, realistically.
I think if that round demonstrated anything, it's that the on-site fights feel a little bit disconnected, right? It feels like they're not supporting each other on the site holds themselves, right? For example, Ji was kind of caught off guard alone. There was some, I think, coordination between Guran and Nono, but again, that boxes that geometry on the B side a little rough around the edges, and we still saw Akman able to isolate it and get that struggle back in the favor of DRG. So I think that's something that they're going to be riding them on, is how these actual site holds are conducted. Otherwise, I think the rotations, the ideas have been on point to that regard. I think they're doing a good job not giving early engagements over to DRG, because that's what they look for with this kind of solo initiator being not as strong as like with a Gecko pick. But again, so you see these early starts with really early util. And this is why we saw the eco go the way it did for Vukashu. 5th round operator online. And they're trying to bait him to fight them into it so that Flexing can clean up the rest.
That's a really nice idea. Shay gets caught there, but Midnight just keeping himself safe and alive so far. My eyes are on the Bucky here of Nono, but DRG just not looking to pressure into that B angle and approach, and that means the Bucky is going to be practically useless here. You're not going to want it for any kind of long-range engagement, since Satoshi has the Headhunter. This could be the chance and opportunity. He's been spotted though, but still finds the kill onto Flexin. Quick rendezvous away, and he gets out with his life. 40 seconds still on the clock. DRG have plenty of time to try and work this. But the Headhunter is doing the work, and he's got his ultimate online. Tour de force in his hands. It's basically an operator trying to buy time for the flank of Nono to come on through. He'll be able to grab an upgrade for sure. They're heading back in towards mid, and Nono might have been able to hear this. They're going towards B, and he's got a classic up behind him. He might be able to try and find something. The shot's going wide, but Vukashu falling. Spirit C1, low HP. Just 6 points of health to his name. There's only 10 seconds. They got to beeline to the B site. Wingman planting the spike, though. Crash now online, like you said, Sobi. Could be the win condition. And Satoshi still hasn't been able to pick up an upgrade. He's only got the Tour de Force here and a Sheriff. This one is tight. This one is close as they creep in through from tracks and Arch. Smoke coming on out to create the one-way. Spams on through. That's information given over. Spirit C1 as well on his low health. They're just having to clear every single angle. There's the Thrash. No, it's caught by the Titane. Nick is able to save the round, and DRG take the lead.
Wow, if they hadn't been managing this ult economy to a T, if the Thrash did not come online when it did, this round would have gone a very different way, trending towards a rare Adam Thrifty. I mean, when are we going to learn not to underestimate Satoshi? Clearly not after the first kill, because they still didn't use utility to flush him out on these angles over towards A. And I thought they were maybe going to continue refighting into A and into the tour de force that was now popped, but I liked the call to re-rotate. I also really liked how Nono played that, right? Gets one, doesn't overstay his welcome, gets the upgrade, and plays the 2v2. But again, nicely done there. Spirit Z1 baits the Thrash, they get the finisher, and they keep things in the lead, deny the momentum of the timeout. But now, once again, you've located Satoshi. How do you handle him? And this time with an operator.
Yeah, Vikashi's operator, not long for this world, but Midnight, that is a risky fight to take. The smoke drops and he's caught in the sight. Spirit Z1 in, Vukashu as well. A kill onto Satoshi. He's been dealt with. Guran though with this Odin. He's taken down Flexin and taken down Wingman as well. The spike now in the middle of the site, but Spirit Z1 fighting, continuing to stay alive. And Jay, the last player here, 1-on-3. He's turned it into a 1-on-2 immediately. Taps on the spike. Clone coming on through as well. Fake side. Blind side as well. And Vukashu's pushing forward with the spike. Now it's alone, and now it's in the hands of Shay. A 1 versus 1 Nick called upon again, and he clutches up again!
Oh, the crab walk clutch, knowing, expecting Jay to be holding the spike line of sight. And he reads him like a book and says, you ain't getting away with that on my watch. But this just felt like unfortunate timings there a little bit for the side of DRG, at least to get up against Achman with the dark cover fading here. I did like the backline threat as well from Spirit Z1 there. They just could not keep wraps on his timings, and the rest of the team played off of it perfectly, despite those kills that Guran was able to find. So again, even though there's some slight mistakes, they keep wraps on most, they re-accelerate back up. But it looks like RA going for a little bit of pace change. You're getting a little bit more aggressive this time around. Duo pushing A main. Satoshi going for a little bit deeper of a line instead of holding the choke here. I hope this goes up in their favor in the early round.
Satoshi again, this time he's being cleared with the U-cell. But no lesson from, from previous pistol rounds, or anti-eco rounds, I suppose. DRG. After showing that presence on B, that immediately turned tail, heading towards the A site, and it's just Midnight over here. This is the correct read.
Little gamble stack, especially on an eco, especially after they showed presence to flush Satoshi out of B main. I like the re-exploration efforts we're about to see. I'm expecting a paranoia to come through, but it's unfortunate that it's Spirit Z1 that's here. I was hoping maybe that a Gate Crush was online so he could get out of this tricky situation. The trap play does devolve, but...
Or are they?
Yeah... But they didn't have any information on it, so I don't quite know what this call is guided by.
Perhaps they're expecting the rotation out there, potentially overcooking the broth here, Zobi. As well, the mosh pit in towards the corner. Yeah, Jay is dead, but Satoshi has been able to take down Spirit Z1, the reveal, and the Headhunter. Yeah. Coming in time, and Flexin has this ultimate. He can just TP over, but even still, time ticking low. He will be able to survive. Midnight running over his court, and this one, DRG, they just keep a lid on things where it looked potentially a bit dangerous. Toshi's still throwing a little bit of peril into the mix here. They've solidified themselves a 3 versus 2. This outlaw up close should be the closer, and it is with 2. Vukashu gets them both in 3 in the round.
Yeah. Now that we got to see how the A plant panned out from the shadows, the play makes so much more sense here, right? We're like, they don't have enough information, it feels like, to commit fully to this B site. Well, that was never the intention. It was to simultaneously commit to both, see which one was the gamble stack site, and then you had that get out of jail free card coming in from Flexin. So a really nicely cooked, I think, anti-eco out of Dragon Ranger Gaming. Yeah, it got dicey in terms of the B fights that they overcommitted on, but again, that's where they knew that the time, that's where they knew that the lurk from Vukashu would be able to wrap up the remaining, the stragglers, and keep things strong, keep things on to 5. But this round is everything for Rare Adam. Another buy, ults online that they're already looking to invest for early round information. If they lose this, it's not going to go well in that trade. I don't know if it's worth it.
Oh, and Vukashu's been able to take down Guran as well. Guardian, a tricky weapon to wield at the best of times, and Ash is able to come out ahead of it. And Midnight, that's a risky fight to take, but even while jumping, has been able to take things down. Now 3 versus 3. The first 40 seconds of this round. We've seen high action here. Now Flexin is creeping through from main. The paranoia, though, is perfect. Nick on the yard. Finds a double. Now Midnight's left in a 1 versus 2 after the pistol round. It looked like Rare Atom would have a better run of things here, but 5 in a row, and DRG looking to make it 6.
A very bloody mid-fight there. Stops the A split, but ultimately, Nick, that double kill was huge to give an advantage here, right? Especially because Spirit Z1 had TP'd into elbow, didn't have too much to do to help the team there. Midnight, though, this isn't over just yet unless Nick hits that shot, and I'm surprised. I feel like he's not the one to be standing up on stage, you know, celebrating to this degree. It's usually your dyed hair duo over there, but that just shows the confidence this team has right now coming into the Grands, even with this being the map pick, like you mentioned, of Rare Atom. Yeah,
potentially the danger of picking this Corrode, and potentially the danger of being, well, I mean, maybe. The danger as well of just this entire matchup. The map pool's so similar, but we have to remember that this is DRG attacking on Abyss. And so far in Ascension, we've seen 50 rounds on this map, if you're not including today, which isn't a lot, but 60% of those have been won by the attack. So there is a very clear trend there of the attack being favored. Rare Atom, if they go into the half with a 10-2, that's still fairly cooked, but it's not like this is the end of the world. We need to see them get, you know, a couple more, an 8-4, maybe a 7-5 if they're lucky, and they can still have a really good showing on the second half and potentially even take this map. So it's not completely bad news, but after another 4 rounds and problems not being fixed, the coaches call that second timeout. And this one needs to find value, needs to find success, because they've used up both of them in just the first half.
But I think this is a great time to discuss as well. You mentioned, all right, Corrode just in generality right now is attack-sided, but also they made a huge composition shift to the double initiative that incrementally weakened the defense. You think about that toxic screen, you think about that poison orb that's so good as a pseudo-sentinel side anchor, and that is just nowhere. And we're seeing that, the inability to just bunker down against a Gecko pick, against the double duelist pick, and that's exactly what we're seeing this team lean into once again. The early A-pop just to try and overwhelm this utility, and it looks like Rare Atom is okay with that. A big switch up here looking like they wanted to commit more heavily to the mid fight. It's where they got an early advantage, if you remember, in the last round. And I thought we were going to develop it into a multiplayer flank play, but no, it's the mass rotation back to reinforce Midnight here. Break clear off the haunt. Again, DRG is just so good at trying to get these players to overcommit players, overcommit utility, and then they just dip.
And the smoke committed in towards mid as well. I thought potentially Jay would stay as an insert in that cubby, where you can see the attack DRG, they're pinging it on the minimap, they're aware of this. But instead, he's rejoined the team on B, and Midnight goes for the exploration out of B main, and taken down by Ackerman, but he just an insert. He is just a thorn in the side, but only seeing that one player, I guess, still raising suspicions as DRG looking to creep their way up mid.
Satoshi here, the only A-side threat.
Oh, they're not looking.
A bit of a miscall here. Ooh, nice paranoia. But the counter keeps them at bay. Achman falls solo main as well. This might be the backpedal call, or maybe the idea to fight into spawn comes through for Vukashu. I don't know how I feel about the splintering, but this is where these heroic individual players like Spirit Z1 are able to show
Satoshi.
up. But yeah, look at the time.
Ooh. It's
They
so
got
low,
so
but
lucky.
they do have the time. If Satoshi's able to come up big there, then potentially a different story in this round. But as it is, DRG continuing to just pile on the pressure here on Corrode. This is the way that this series is starting. This is, you'd think after Rare Atom, they ban 2 maps, pick 1. This should be their best map here, but Toshi caught in that corner, and things continuing to go the way of DRG, who, to be fair, did pick to start on the attack, and you can very much see why.
Yeah. That round, though, very scrappy success for Dragon Ranger Gaming, but I think I'll counter you there. Sometimes you just want to get the worst map out of the way, and that could be what this was for Rare Atom. We thought this would be the ban over bind, but Time being, like mentioned, attack side's still to come. A few more rounds here, another bide to maybe kickstart the system. They're learning though, right? Don't underestimate Satoshi. Midnight unfortunately caught in the crosshairs of the escape for Satoshi. Finally, a successful A split goes uncontested. Interestingly enough, they leave the Gecko of all players to care for the mid hold.
What? That's fairly unreasonable there from Vikashi, just to kill through the cyber cage. Don't worry about it. When the player being found in mid, they're calling you rotation. Oh, nice from them.
And
you get the player mid and you can just leave.
Yeah, every time they call the rotates too, it's immediate. Okay, who are we having lurk? Who are we having to cut off the rotations, right? Last round it was Spirit Z1, right? You also had Vukushu and Spawn as that second layer defensive. Spirit Z1 fell. This round you had Vukushu left bottom mid. And at this point, when you're about to give DRG an 8th, and you're gonna be worried about losing more, they call for the save. So now it converts from, okay, Vukushu clean up the rotates that may go for the 2v4, clutch when Akhman and Nick are low HP. Now go on the hunt. Try to stop these players from saving their rifles, saving that operator.
Very least, they find the kill onto Vukashu, but I mean, DRG aren't gonna care. Look how much money Vukashu's still got in the bank. He's got 4k credits! And yeah, they're just gonna feed more to the beast, but look at Nick's money. 8,700. They're not going to care in this situation. They've even been able to take a rifle out of the hands as well. Despite everybody falling, DRG should be good for probably the rest of the half here in terms of the economy. They can just feed players into the Lion's Den to try and just do as much damage as possible. And one player falls in that spot. That's actually so good for DRG even still.
Yeah, I think the first kill gave from the shadows to Noto, but after that, they both have ults. It does not matter, like you mentioned, from an
even if they
ult or
die.
a money perspective. Yeah. So, coming into this, Satoshi, they're actually going to run the double op here with the Tour de Force. Interesting call, having one on each main location and just fully entrusting it to him, at least for off the ripcord, waiting for then the top mid players to rotate back over here. They react off the Prowler, but no contact made. This is just DRG's default, right? They start B main, they flush out you to like these Prowlers, and you're not getting that back. And in the meantime, they just wait for a mistake elsewhere on the map for players like Vukushu to capitalize off of, and they're at him. Looking like they have other plans. A little forward drone, benefit of the double initiator. You can be a little bit more forward with this reclear utility. And I'm wondering how far Satoshi is willing to go.
Spotted by the dimensional drift and paranoia coming his way. Been able to dodge that blind, but Midnight is isolated alone here on the site. He's on an island, but Guran with that kill. It's a brilliant reveal and a second kill through the wall. The Guardian doing work and Wingman's been taken down. Now the Spike is stranded here in the site. Knight still standing in this spot as well. Satoshi from elbow. DRG are in trouble here, but they've still got the guns to try and do this. Midnight's been spotted by the spike hammers. Flexing, creeping round the corner. Has been able to find the control here for DRG. They've got the spike. It's in their clutches, in their hands, but 18 seconds. They're going to need to plant soon, and they do. Vukashu gets that in the ground, and now the onus on Rare Atom. They have to retake, and Satoshi's only on 30 HP. He still only really has his Tour de Force. Up close and personal, Nick. He's going to get dropped, but Flexing Vukashu still in the smoke. They've been massive so far. 8 and 7 kills apiece, and Vukashu makes it 9. Looking even potentially still for double digits as they persist inside of the dark cover. Baiting around it. No with the tap. Shay falling. Flexing makes it 3, makes it 4, and 9 for DRG.
And they're even shocked at what has just transpired. That's the player that I mentioned is a sleeper angel that you cannot underestimate in these clutch moments. I mean, he had the audacity to, I think it was a little shrouded step into Cubby there, stays there, plays around the site dark cover to find kills like that onto Midnight. And even then, it was just this in and out around the smoke, and it's so unfortunate that Nono gets caught in that fashion, but wow, what a round to just solidify dominance in this half. Now knocking on the door of double digits, and after a round like that, yeah, you're feeling confident to once again challenge any util, any players, any plan that we're at a may throw towards B main to counter your default.
Nick can just pick up the Dizzy again. He's got a flash in like 10 seconds if they want to go for some kind of fast hit too. But instead, the default slows down a little. DRG just knocking on the door even still. drift used from Jay to find some information. He's going to be able to spot Vikashi bottom mid, and Spirit C1 just teleporting in. That's a massive blunder straight into the arms of Guran, and Satoshi on the side with his operator is going good for it. The spike's been planted, but I mean, Rare Atom aren't going to care because they've got the kills to boot. A third on the board with that defuse coming in. But is it too little, too late?
We'll have to see. Pistol will determine that course of action. Holy. Discuss that round a little bit more. It seems like they finally realized, like, hey, we can, you know, not deny the spike plant, but deny the site still simultaneously when all they're worried is about is sending this wingman in. So playing for the kills around the wingman worked out really, really well. But now coming into the next, what do we think of? Okay, they sacrificed the Viper for the double initiator. How do we think that's going to serve them on the attack better than the loss of the Viper cost them on the defense?
That is the question. One thing to point out there as well about the previous round is Spirit, that teleport in, that's something that we saw quite a bit of on Abyss yesterday. When you could tell that DRG really was struggling on these maps, you saw that kind of thing happen a lot, where Spirit teleports in, but he didn't have the utility to set him up or the players behind him to back him up in that situation. So he just gets sent in to die. As we can see, no man, they're supporting Rare Atom. Third time lucky, potentially. Indeed.
I mean, he was on their team.
He was on their team.
This is where he got his start. I think he was co-streaming even some of the early playoff games, so he definitely is making his support known. I actually got to chat with him during Champs Paris. Insane run.
Yeah, an incredible run in XLG. Obviously, their performance at Champs means that DRG are the team in this spot and in this position, but a 9-3 half, they're still looking good here to take Corrode 1-0.
And to circle back to that question of, okay, Rare Atom, they're the ones that have that pressure to perform. And circling back to the double initiator pick, I'm trying to get in the head, you know, of Mickey here, just trying to think about it. I think one is that, like, usually the initiator utility is like telltale signs of an exec to come. Here, that's not going to be the case. Maybe they're trying to buy into Dragon Ranger Gaming over rotating a touch. Aside from that, you can have a really strong then info on both sides of the map. So I'm expecting to see maybe instead of a no-no or a Satoshi lurk, an initiator lurk perhaps. I think Midnight can really thrive in that position, considering he's been kind of having a hard time. He was kind of getting overwhelmed on the defense, right? Versus previously, he's this like star Viper anchor, right? And switching on to this role on this map, definitely a learning curve. But DRG, not letting off the gas at all. Quick mid-fight coming out off the Dizzy, off the double duelist. It looks like Rare Atom's just waiting to receive it here.
Yeah, look at all this control that DRG have. Down mid, Rare Atom still waiting for DRG to push into them, but Satoshi's been spotted. This is Satoshi with a headhunter in his hands. You know the amount of damage that he's going to be able to do. DRG still with a lack of information, but with a Dizzy spotting no one in B main. Nick and Vukashu starting to explore mid a little bit. Rare Atom also looking to head towards this A side, potentially. This next upcoming mid-fight is going to be massive, and there's a Dizzy with the flash, but Paranoia counter in response, and Satoshi still finding the kills. Midnight a double as well. Nick is the only one left alive. He's been able to find one, but still 3 in his way. Been spotted there by the recon. Guran is going to be able to take him down, so double pistol here on Corrode for Rare Atom. They've only got a total of 4.
Hey, we said it was a big pistol to win, and they just kind of waited for Dragon Ranger Gaming to fight that. I liked the call to try and scale a mid after he found the opening kit pick after you punish Spirit Z1, and it just happened to be that's when the reclear, the refight attempt was coming out off probably the Dizzy retiming right after it was recollected comes in, and this is something they've done just a really good job in historically, right? Even in the uppers up against Any Questions, who's a team that's just, I think it was, Rigor called it always quarreling for AQ because they always were fighting forward. And it's, again, something that RA is so good at handling. And even this round, right, in Nico, looks like DRG is looking to run it back. We can just make quick work of this, whether it's win or loss, move on to the rifle buy. We'll see if it works this time around. But again, RA is set up to handle it from the get-go.
Oh, Jay spotted him. And some pot shots through the smoke. Flexen should be worried here, but for Rare Atom again, doing anything too quickly, deciding where they want to go, and DRG are guessing B. They've all 5 players stacking over on this side, but Rare Atom look more set up for that kind of A look. Indeed, that's where they're heading towards now. The train of 4 and so many bings on the site.
A huge just soul raid coming in. It's correctly been weighted on the scales. It'll be a deserted site, and this is where Dragon Ranger Gaming. What does the plan B look like? If they can overwhelm Midnight here, they might be able to get that cheeky little Bulldog upgrade. You'd think it'd be kind of switched off to Gouda and a little bit safer, maybe hands to hold, but that could also be why, okay, hey, Midnight's on an island. Let's send a life saver out in terms of these 2 players rotating also to reinforce Link here. So now you're going to have Paranoia. You're going to have so much here as soon as contact's made.
Oh, but it's a little bit whiffy, and Guran has this ghost up close, so things looking a little bit difficult. Vikashu's good with it. Ackerman as well. Suddenly a lot of danger thrown into the mix. Vikashu's found another, and Spirit has taken down Midnight. It's just Satoshi, but oh god, it's Satoshi. Always good in these spots, but the Paranoia is clean. It just takes him down. DRG get the defuse, get double digits on the board with an eco round win.
Those hands from Flexen are the "what are you doing" hands is what I've learned, and thank you to our amazing translator beat us. Like, whew, it was a great setup, right? I mentioned, okay, Midnight's alone, so they have the Paranoia from No ready to go. It's perfectly timed as well. I think it was ultimately the dark cover bottom mid out of Flexen that isolates Midnight from the rest, right? So then they're only focused on those Link players. They get really effective trades there. Then the smoke yard as well kind of cuts off Satoshi from the rest. And also Spirit's the one getting that kill on the Midnight is huge, so then you don't have to worry about a pinch play. Everything went the way of DRG there. And that kill is like the final nail in the coffin, right? Now that was your single smoke, so you're not playing double controller anymore. And this is going to be a bloodbath in mid where we might just have eco for eco action. Wait a minute.
Oh, it's so dangerous, but Ackerman, he's found 3 to try and save things here. And Midnight left alone. He's got an upgraded rifle. Could be everything. The slow flank, slow wrap around.
Plenty of time.
Minute left on the clock, indeed.
Hop back online ever so slightly.
Yeah, he just doesn't really have the information, and throwing a haunt would give away his position. Where does he go from here?
At this point. Made us so many corners, so many nooks and crannies.
Yeah. He at least knows where the spike is dropped. That should be the clue, but now Ackerman starting to guess where he is, and now he's been spotted. They're going to be aware of this position. DRG looking to fight this together. Ackerman and Flexen doubling up and save the round. No eco shenanigans this time, and now just 2 away from the victory here. A fairly quick victory as well. Started with that opening kill from Nick, and happened just as he was saying that nothing was going the way of Rare Atom as well. I was just the complete picture of that.
Yep. I saw the vision there.
She's got the ult though. Could be way in.
Yeah, if I've learned anything on if I have any takeaway, if I'm Midnight right now, it feels like Rare Atom has been, if you think about it, winning the mid fights, right? Like, think about that round, right? It was an eco, and they still like got the kills, got the momentum back until Achman comes sliding in with a Vandal over their classics and sheriffs. So if it comes to rifles versus rifles, I do think they've been winning those engagements, and so. Yeah, they've been starting with this really strong mid presence, but it's been purely reactive, right? Waiting for DRG to fight into them. I want to see them take the initiative here a little bit, right? I really like G and Satoshi's ability to play together. I think that's the issue here. Satoshi's not a scaling agent, but now that decision's been made for you, right? Midnight, we talked about it. Your initiators are going to be the lurk players here. It's overwhelmed, overrun. Now you finally scale up. Undetected for the time being. Huge pressure going to be at Achman if they follow through with this.
Still not sure about these things though, and now No is... I don't know if they've spotted out that player too, and it's just It's all DRG here in top mid. Arch is under their control. Nakaman sliding in from a link. Shutting things down. No. 1-on-4. This is really the final opportunity for Rare Atom to have any sort of success, and it's just snatched away from them. Going to be a pretty ugly purchase by the looks of things here for what's promising to be the final round here of Corrode. It's 12-4, and Rare Atom would need 8 in a row to bring us to overtime.
Yeah, the indecision's just been a death sentence for Rare Atom. I mean, not who's to say if Akman would have gotten multi-kills from that corner or not, but ultimately, just the backpedaling gives Dragon Ranger Gaming that, like, that time, right? To pinch back through mid, to re-clear that space, which they know they do now. They've done it now a few times. So now it's just pedal the metal, see what's happening, and finally when they go towards a main, when they go for a more direct hit, that's when they collide against the double duelist, plus the paranoia from Flexen, and that's so hard to get away from. And said 8 in a row, we might not even get one.
Such nice shooting from Ackerman too. Spike not committed to this spot, which is somewhat of a positive, but Guran and Satoshi are looking to fight back into this again, and they're facing up against the high-low, and they're just taking it dry, taking it one by one. It's not the way that you fight up against this kind of buy with the buy that you have. No, at least has one, but it was a 1v4 in the previous. Turned it into a 1v4 now with this kill. Still more players left to find. Is spotted out by the ultimate Spiritsy one, making the most of using this util in the dimensional drift while he can. The information was given over to Vakashu, and it is a 13-4. First blood here goes the way of DRG. My God, do they look good right now.
Oh, absolutely. And this is one of those maps that we said was going to be up in the air in the ban process, was going to be the risky decision to pick into, even as a map 1 for Rare Atom. And I think that was what was clearly demonstrated here. The lack of reps. I mean, they only had one time played on it. And like we mentioned, that was a close affair during the group stage. And that was up against a team like ALG, right? Ambitious Legends Gaming. So it's not your top teams either that pushed them to that overtime. So all in all, I didn't get to see the same key players I wanted to see online in that second half. For example, G was doing an insane job anchoring, right, on the defense, but on the other side of the map, when they avoided G, right, the shortcomings from switching Midnight off of that Viper, who was a really good anchor, onto this Fade, just felt a little funky.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were saying as we were heading into the map, right, where we just didn't know whether that trade-off between the Viper and Fade would be worth it, and well, we've just seen it just absolutely was not. It didn't look as practiced on this composition and just got absolutely shut down by DRG, who it looked like had the perfect counter to this new composition that Rare Atom pulled out as well. So it just wasn't there for them. Sunset, I believe, is map number 2, and again, this is a map that both teams really like, but we'll also get to see in just a moment these team comms of how DRG were able to win here on Corrode. While we have our ideas, it's always nice to hear how the teams get on themselves. So the anti-eco win, as we see the last of these highlights coming on through. We'll get the team comms in just a few moments.
Oh, the vibes are there. The team synergy, the team comms have to follow in instead. I mean, they were always on their feet.
欧门都不来，欧门都不来，欧门没黑了，兄弟们。依赖一个菲德，还有菲德。玩波。Nice， no， 不是，兄弟。No， 加油加油加油 ，Let's go。Yep， 传，左边左边。还在底下还在底下。爆能器落在 B 区。下包下包下包。 下不了了，下不了，没事没事 ，Let's go。哦，这个奥迪，我爱你，一个，我爱你。但是我没想到这个奥迪，还穿烟。不是今天兄弟们。花脸，能跟吗？人不够，人不够，人不够，兄弟。他捡枪了，花脸，他捡枪了。 右边拉 ，nice 空了，下包。啊，当时起，夜路可能TP了，架着。
还在他脸上，还在他脸上。
OK。
左边。
拿完起，Nice！Let's go！Nice！
好家伙，我一个人冲过去把 B 点杀光了，兄弟。
Well, what a map from... Oh, the team comms are still going. Well, that's interesting. Okay, we're professionals.
It's just a lot of shouting, a lot of celebration, a lot of let's go and what are you doing? Because we had the same questions for Adam.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did. And Nick is the MVP. Maybe not a player that you would have expecting, but yeah, absolutely sniping it in. But with 235 ACS, I mean, yeah, he was shooting.
And I think a great demonstration that, before we enter the new patch, that you can really get away with any agent compositions on some of these maps as long as you're confident in what you're doing. And I think he just kind of popped off. He was lurking in unexpected areas, right? When you expect him to just be like the spike bearer, the spike carrier. I think he was reacting well around his own wingman as well and punishing. That round, that play was huge in wrestling back a disastrous possibility. So again, it was just kind of these cheeky kills, but they were consistent. Right, and the mix of first bloods in it as well just is what kind of lent him very well. The MVP, but I mean, everybody was 3 kills within each other, guys. It's hard to name an MVP under those circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Spiritsy1 had the exact same ACS as well, which is just ridiculous performances. But you look at Satoshi on the other side. Get him some help is maybe the what I would say, because yeah, he was trying, but. Like you said, Nick had that impactful 2K that we saw in Yard in those MVP highlights. Potentially is what set the stage for this incredibly dominant map. That round goes a different way. We potentially see a completely different story because it was Nick in those clutch moments that was able to start this snowball rolling, and Rare Atom were just caught up in the avalanche.
Absolutely, and you saw G started out really strong and then just moved down the scoreboard as the half progressed, and that was my player. I was literally telling everyone, I'm like, that's gonna be my MVP to keep an eye on, even for contention for all of Ascension if Adam wins. So to see him not showing up in the server, I said prior, to me it wasn't a win con that he had to show up, it just makes things a lot easier. And maybe I was proven wrong. Maybe he does have to be online. Maybe they have to have that early success to get him an operator, and that's something that's essentially going to be pivotal, really pivotal on a map like Sunset.
Yeah, but we'll discuss Sunset a little bit more after this break. We'll be back in just a few minutes, but when we return, it's map number 2 in the grand finals of China Ascension. Don't go anywhere. Well, no rest for the Wicked. We are straight back in. We're straight into the agent select here for map number 2, which is Sunset. So let's have a quick look at that. Satoshi has gone over to the Neon, and we're seeing essentially a mirror composition. The only difference here is Nick is on the Fade, whereas we have Guran on the Sova. Zobi, thoughts on these compositions?
I think you asked about getting Satoshi some help. I think the Neon and the Yoru work a lot more hand in hand. We saw, especially on the defense, I'd say over on Crow, they were very separate spheres, right? We saw G anchoring A elbow. We saw Satoshi a lot on the B main choke. I think this is going to be a lot more just them working in succession with each other. So excited to see that. I think Guren on the Sova versus the Fade is just purely a comfort pick. And you're going to see really effective like Hunter's Fury just to force through, I think, retakes and such. They're going to be super aggressive, not post-plant-esque in any fashion. And also, obviously, we are going to see the Rare Atom starting on the defense once again. How do we feel about that as we ramp up into what looks like a DRG A death ball?
Yeah, they're certainly running forwards into this, and Ackerman got up close and personal so far. Good run. Just about round this corner, and I don't know if Ackerman going to be too aware of it, but dips away, and the site is effectively in the hands and control of DRG. The Neon on 44 health though, as the spike goes down. Rare Atom still in with a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Ackerman lost HP. It's still a 5-on-5, and I mean, that's huge info, but that's Relay Bolt gone. They're just trying to eat away at this clock the best they can. Relay Bolt into the seas. They want them out of this site.
Midnight is on this flank as well. I think Vikashu will be aware of it as Satoshi dashing in, and Vikashu, he's not been spotted. He's found the third, but Midnight just a bit too late into this. A 1v5, made a 1v4, but still every player looking in his direction. DRG win their first pistol round of the match, if you can believe it. They get on the ground running here on map number 2.
And I'm going to tell you, that is not the first time we've seen that post played out of DRG. I think they did it yesterday in the lower finals against Any Questions. Shout out to Sideshow in the Costream. He was calling out, like, I don't know how I feel about this planet. They know they're flipping the site, but you can see it from that deep CT position, and that's exactly what they play for when they know the pressure is mounting out of Link. Vukashi here got so lucky as well, because they know that trap got destroyed. They know there was a flank coming from Midnight, and it just was mistimed. So, huge opportunity squandered. Another DRG pistol to get to continue the train rolling. In the meantime, Rare Atom went for the aggressive A exec, got that orb, but it's again this kind of B-centric start that we saw similar to Corrode, repurposed over for its Sunset. We'll see what Midnight looks like back on this kind of site anchor instead of the initiator position.
Yeah, hopefully finding a bit more success. Dark cover refreshed there in the choke point. No, that smoke, but dashing on in. Midnight, he's not been spotted. Right clicks, it took 3 of them. But still taking down Ackerman, and DRG want absolutely none of what Rare Atom are selling over here. Vikashi's inserted himself up mid, so could potentially catch some of these rotations, and the drone just making its way towards B main. It's going to know that no one's there. And it's Jay, sorry, that's going to be called upon here on A.
As you wait?
Just wait for this.
I would
doesn't catch it. Yeah, they're just waiting for the rest of the team to be here. They have the advantage, but the spike being planted yet again, and this time it's Flexin who's a snake in the grass. Vikashu's still in his odd spot. Surely they're aware of it this time, but the spike's still not being planted, as there's still more pressure coming in. Vikashu's found a double Guran. He might just be able to find this save, something for Rare Atom, but no. Spirit is there for the kill, but only 2 left alive.
Oh, and even at this point, right, the rounds that Dragon Ranger Gaming shouldn't be winning, or like that look like they're about to lose out, they're able to keep wraps on and wrestle things back. Whether it's from Vukashu in that 2K to, oh hey, we're running out of time, quick, get the spike and get it down, Vukashu, after getting that 2K, and they still are able to get it back. You saw Guren realizing, hey, if they're playing the open, I might be able to sneak back this kill in the nick of time, but ultimately good attempt out of Rare Atom, especially after that B-side anchor, but Again, quick rotation. Don't want to take risks against the gamble stack. Now, we're back to how things should go. A little stinger to supplement the buy on the side of DRG. Now, accrediting, I think, towards this market push to keep the close angles. Woo!
Ackerman rushing in there, though, gets the trade. Vishay found the opener. It's falling, but so now both Yoru's out of the round, but the spike being planted here on B. DRG have a post plant, and these stingers at this close range should be able to do some work, as Flexen's found an upgrade as well onto a Phantom. Looking like DRG might be able to find the bonus conversion, get a third on the board. Rare Atom, they need to try and overwhelm here. No information handed over. The recon bolt shot out, destroyed. Satoshi dropping down. Gurun with a kill. No as well, but Flexen from Marketplace. He's only able to get one. Vikashu is in the smoke, but he's using his ultimate. Neural Theft infested, but still has to try and reload. Perhaps a little bit over-eager, as half had already been earned, and Gurun gets the defuse.
And I love the respect that Rare Atom showed there, right? Gets it to happen, then doesn't stick it all the way. Gets off. They know that Neural Theft is active. They know that Outlaw is lethal. But what a damaging round from Dragon Ranger Gaming onto that buy-up for the side of Rare Atom, right? The Stingers clearly catching them off guard on that market hold. I expect some switch-ups in that regard. And outside of that, the trade's swift, effective. They're lucky to have the spike plant down, and you can see some of the repercussions come through. A judge, no shield possibly for No. That's the damage they were able to deal. In the meantime, Dragon Ranger Gaming, back to this double lurk style with the B main heavy presence off the double duelists. Just Flexen looking to punish, Vukushu looking to punish. And Rare Atom giving them no opportunities to do so thus far.
Very slow and measured so far for DRG. In the one way on A main, but a couple shots sent through, and potentially Rare Atom think that some pressure might be coming, but it's just the one so far. Is DRG looking to group up here?
Yeah.
In mid.
Okay, so homework done on the one way. I mean, it's Sunset. It's a Cypher. Checked that box. Second, I think there might be some concern for Guren and this early Hunter's Fury, right? He's the #1 killer on some of these close, confined sites like B main. I think that's why they're going for, we need impact first, we need some kills first. Why we've re-rotated into this mid-fight. I could even see them faking a market hit and trying to go towards A, but it's actually just the deep insert. We've seen players like Satoshi actually do this for Rare Atom, but this time it's Ackman taking a page out of his book, flips through Boba. Whoa! And while they think they have a fast one over on Rare Atom, they haven't handled the side anchor. Midnight calls the plant location. That Hunter's Fury weave spotlights comes through, and it's still, I was gonna say in the nick of time might have stopped the plant. For some reason they got off, and 4 seconds to go. Get back on, get the plant through, but that is all they're gonna find.
What a double kill from Midnight as well in the top of the site to completely shut down, stymie that Boba push, and then the Hunter's Fury coming through from Gurun. DRG were left scrambling. They couldn't have that full control of the site like they wanted. Here you can see it, a lovely transfer. The reveal, what gets the job done in the end, is that even more tags from the util coming on out. So Rare Atom, they get their second on the board, but these rounds have been close, and you can see again Vikashu, he just seems to be a little bit out of sync with the rest of his team when it comes to the util. Again, he's the only one here with a rifle, and Ackerman has just fallen immediately. And Gurun getting involved as well here on A main. It's just a complete bloodbath. He's behind them.
I mean,
he's teleported behind them.
Trigger just put in all. How much do we think he's going to be able to find? Like, realistically, I think 1, maybe 2, but not,
well, 0.
Unfortunately. Yeah, the orb to come back, I think if they weren't, then he would have had it, but ultimately, I mean, Rad has been setting up for that A fight round after round, and they finally just got to show it off, right? And again, that's where that Sova comfort from Guren comes in. They're able to almost use the fast lane against them time after time. I've seen it happen with these Neon picks. So really well done there to deny the eco, and it's actually going to be Dragon Ranger Gaming's first time out of the series here, because Again, it feels like they're playing more to capitalize off of Rare Atom's mistakes, and then when Rare Atom isn't exposing themselves, they're kind of fighting the clock a little bit and getting in these positions where they don't have the opportunity, the ability to backpedal out, to opt for a plan B, like we were able to see time and time again on Sunset. I go back to that really creative from the shadows play on the anti-eco denial. That's kind of what I want to see. You know, Vukushu has been having these mid lurks. Maybe try and get him a little bit deeper through A side, you know, elbow and such, alley and such. But aside from that, I think Rare Atom's doing a good job just keeping things on wraps. They've had some really concrete retakes, and that's pretty much where we're sitting.
You'd think as well, based on, you know, the compositions of this, everything that we've seen, and just kind of the way that we're seeing this game play out as well, that Sunset and Corrode would be having similar outcomes, but right now, things are being flipped on their head, despite the massive amount of similarities between the two maps, even in how we're seeing DRG approach these rounds on their attacking side.
Yeah.
But
I'll say one wrinkle is definitely, hey, you have a Sentinel this time? Or I say a good Sentinel, I should say, right? No shame to Satoshi on the chamber, but I feel like they're just getting a lot of stability from Midnight on this B side as well, that like the Viper would have brought to Crowd. We think I've talked about that a little too much by this point, but to turn that page, looks like DRG trying to convert this buy off of the ults, like the Nightfall, like the Dimensional Drift, and that's going to allow the Deep Deposit, where once again they're going to rely almost solely on Spirit Z1 to open these rounds on their behalf.
Well, and he's absolutely done that. Flexing as well has taken down Midnight. 2 kills through walls there. DRG and the spike down as well. B-side in their control, in their hands. And despite the Sheriff from Fukashu, DRG still in a massive advantage. Clone shot out, but even still doesn't get the flash. Guran does take down Nick, though. He's trying to fight ahead of this. Now Spirits, oh my god, through the wall, but still flashed out. No. With the kill, Guran, these two players, they've been good so far. There's the first tap on the spike to try and draw something out, and Guran's find the kill as well. Ackerman and Flexin now called upon. It's just Guran 1v2 as the time running out. DRG playing this to perfection, the discipline in their hands, and tie up the game yet again with a 3-3.
Very, very nicely done there. Just okay, Spirit Z1 did his job, finds his impact. Yeah, the flash, the positional muscle memory falters a touch there as he doesn't find his way safely into the corner, but their ability to get that really bowled out, to double swing time and time again, that's enough for Rare Atom to call the emergency break. I think this is more just, hey, we don't want that momentum to come through for DRG, right? We want a strong half. We saw what happens when DRG run away with things, and also, they, like we mentioned, their strong suits were kind of revolving around that B site, right? Their ability to anchor it, their ability to retake it, and somehow DRG in one timeout dismantled all of that.
Yeah, potentially Rare Atom hoping that their timeout has a similar success the other way around. And it's rare to see 2 timeouts, like, a round apart. You normally at least get a couple in between, but again, Rare Atom earlier than you'd expect, putting a pause on things here. So on this 3-3 spot, I believe both teams should be able to have a bye into this next round. As we jump into round 7 here. The DRG have got,
I think I see a G Dimensional Drift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a no-no for Shadows as well, but Flexin has that Omen ult of his own. And one thing that I'm looking at is Ackerman is 1 away from the overdrive here. With Satoshi 2 away from his Neon ult. But Ackerman has been just having a little bit more success here, and he's just going straight for it. Again, it's just dash through from DRG, and they've got control of sight. They're in.
Yeah. I mean, G finally picked up the operator. I was hyping this one up in the pre-show, and it's just unfortunate that it comes when they're trying to re-death ball into this A side.
Whoa.
But like I mentioned, there is that read, the hard just call on where Dragon Ranger Gaming prefers this fight plan to be played from. They anti it. Speaking of antis, no drone for you, Guran. The Spirit Z1 tried to get up in your face, and you have turned them around. Look at this beautiful positioning and paranoia from Flexin. Forces the TP, gets the kill, and now, unfortunately, you're the last remaining on your pedestal.
Picks out of the sky as well. Play pigeon shooting there for Gurun, but yeah, unfortunately that position for Flexin just not ideal when where the spike is planted. No opportunity to overwatch for it. You had to go for some kind of play, but with 3 players on the other side, it just isn't enough. And it's a nice attempt, but for Rare Atom, I think the key there was just the disruption of the plan that DRG wanted to go for. The spam through the smoke. They know where that spike wants to be planted. And yeah, so clean from Gurun. And somehow he's able to survive against Spirits as well. I don't know how that one's come about.
I don't know what was faster, Ackman's entry on Neon or Satoshi's re-entry there towards Jenny. Either way, it was so seamless, and that's that kind of give and push you're going to get with Satoshi on the Neon at high speed and G with this operator. So now you have really strong anchors towards both sites, right? Midnight on B, this operator towards A. And that's exactly why DRG is opting to go towards neither. Trying to push once again top mid to Boba, and once again Midnight delivers. Oh, I spoke too soon. That's caster curse.
What a shot from Fukashi though. He seems to be always good for one with a Sheriff in his hand, but DRG still in a disadvantage. As I say that, Spirit's there with a kill. Satoshi sliding in, traded again, back and forth. These kills have been going, so 2 versus 2, but Jay...
Oh, not again.
Oh my gosh, yeah, okay. I was going to say he's got an operator, not the best, but with Flexin falling there to the Hunter's Fury, and Nick, he's trying to go for the swing. He's able to somehow find it. Now 1 versus 1. Haunt coming through from Market. Jay spotted. Now he's going to know where Nick is coming from as well, but he's tucked in close. Jay, can you win this out? And he does! Reading the peak perfectly. The operator in the retake is just enough for Rare Atom, but that was an eco round for DRG, and they very nearly got it over the line.
Wow, I need to see the GPOV for that operator shot, because again, menace with that weapon in hand, but this was a very rocky round. Honestly, the Hunter's Fury bails them out so hard because both players had their eyes on these weapon upgrades, and yeah, that's a moment and a reason to celebrate for sure. I mean, hats off as well, because Nick played that really well. The Haunt out, identify where it was. I wish he maybe played for the tap instead. Just again, some underestimation maybe of the Rare Atom players that comes back to bite them in the heels. But Dragon Ranger Gaming, that was an eco again. So weapons in hand. Only silver lining is you got the Ackman ult out as well. Nick, 2 off here. Maybe you could get some more farming going. No, they'd rather just get the Dimensional Drift online. Spears Z1 caused a ruckus last time, if you remember. Got in the back lines, got into Boba. Overwhelmed players like Satoshi. Do they run that back?
So many questions here, so many options. DRG. Looks like they want to explore this eastern side a little bit more. The one-way refreshed there by No. A little bit of a stop to things, but still a minute left on the clock, so just over half of the round remaining, and Spirit, he's going in. He's got the information, got the read here, and clearing so much of the space as information, but Satoshi has taken down Vakashu. Spirit C1, he's surely got to take down No, and he does. The 4 versus 4, and he's already inside of Ali to try and push on further back. Post-plant situation now for DRG and Rare Atom. Try and retake here. 2 players looking to go down this side. Blind side out. Spirit C1. He's trying to dodge the flash, and he's been able to take it. Satoshi not able to land it. Ackerman with a trade as well. Rare Atom in those fine moments. The minutiae of the round have just been felled here. Midnight, at least on the wrap, is able to find one, and potentially that means that there's a chance for Guran to fight back into this, but the time is so low. There isn't a chance. He's just got to dip away. Tries to save this operator. Being hunted here by these 2 players. Spirits won't let him have it. Round goes to DRG. They're back within 1 and not letting Rare Atom get any sort of daylight between these teams.
Wow. And if there's anything good, or anything DRG is good for towards that A side, it is, again, fighting his back hall's position. Spirit Z1 off the paranoia. Perfect. Somehow weathers all of that utility too. Alright, Spirit Z1. That's the performance that we were expecting, hoping to see consistently throughout this playoffs bracket, and it is coming back in full force, like we mentioned, to try and get that lead back here. 1 round away from tying things up. Only a few hero rifles littering the side of Rare Atom here, and Looks like they finally want to do something about this B main space they've been giving up effortlessly. Might see a little paranoia. Dash play from Satoshi. Let's see.
Midnight still with the rifle in hand as well, so just one brought up into this. Potentially some danger thrown into the mix. Still 5 players here for Rare Atom over on B. DRG, they just get the orb and leave. Jay in mid might be called upon here to try and find something, but he's just dipping away himself in the cage. This spot. Being forced away from this.
Okay. Silence. Again, this is just Dragon Ranger Gaming due diligence. They're very, very wary and aware of when they might be walking into a stack. And again, this is where Flexen just has the sixth sense and the calling. Unfortunately, this time around, right, because of just forward position around pillar, around tiles, they're able to call it earlier than the plant coming down. Dragon Ranger Gaming, though, how do they position in the post? That's the big question. Become almost predictable in how they fight towards this backside space, so opting for the better of it. Again, not wanting to hand over these better weapons. And we'll see how the crossfires hold.
Potentially Rare Atom going to look for a couple exits here. Satoshi jumping in. And Nick shuts down 2 of them. No jumping through as well. Good run falls. Midnight not long for this world either. Just have to face the music. All 5 players coming here. There's one exit, but really it's not going to do too much. 5-5 now the score, I believe, and yet again DRG fighting close here.
Yeah. And again, in these moments where they have like 1 or 2 hero rifles, I want to see better plans concocted around them, right? Like, you have Satoshi dashing, and I want to see, was that like the beginning of an Overdrive voice line I heard as well? And I really wish we could either hand those weapons off to the duelists or see them diving in synchronous with these, you know, equal weapon players. I look back to, like, if I remember right, Midnight in the 2nd round, right? Was able to get that Spectre, for example, and they didn't really use that either. So just things to keep in mind that they could be doing in these, like, chance positions. But for the time being, we're back to the Jaw Operator show. To say Jaw Operator show. And Spears Yuan has put a quick pilot episode termination on that airing. Shuts it down, and this, I feel like, was supposed to maybe draw them into execing towards the Cypher. But I do like this call to repivot, to re-explore once again. DRG just... This is going to be huge info to call off of.
Yeah. To say they're looking towards mid yet again. They're going for the mid to A this time. Gurun inside of CT has been spotted, and DRG just getting themselves in towards the A site. It's going to be Nono, the player that's really called upon here, but he's looking more towards Ali to try and punish on towards Spirit. A 5v4 post plant now for DRG, and Satoshi. He's a player that's trying to find this information, but DRG, they're not letting themselves get captured or caught by this, just instead periodically falling back, wasting the time, and forcing all of this utility, all of these bullets to come towards the Midnight. That's a good swing. Guran as well. Potentially, there's some fight left in this. Now, the advantage in the hands of Rare Atom. Nick from long range, only good for 1. No, answering back Fukashu, but it's not planted for them here inside of Elbow. It's at the half, but Shorty round the corner from Flexin. DRG take the lead here in the first half of Sunset.
And at this rate, we need a stat going for how many rounds Flexen is a closer for. Clutch or not, it feels like he is always the one to cap off these rounds, these plans, and especially his ability to re-pivot after getting exposed by the neural theft on that upward position. Very well played there, especially picking up the pieces after what was this off-position plant.
Good job.
And that round as well really fully displayed the difference in ideals as well, right? Rare Atom won't have a key player, right? Nono was in a position, right, to be that solo heroics player, and he says, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get back with the team. I'm going to play around them. versus it's Spirit Z1 playing forward. You know, it's Achman playing forward that get punished. So, again, a great attempt, but DRG Heroics just pulled across the line at a pivotal moment where they'll now have the safety net of a 6th round, looking to once again cap off a lead. It's not the flashy 9-3, but a 7-5. Definitely be a way to keep the blood flowing, pumping.
You would argue, though, that Sunset does favor the attack a little bit. So VALORANT already with 5 and still an opportunity to make it 6. Still what's expected of them here. No drift being used. Spirit C1. He spotted that his B site is basically vacant. Yeah, coming to assist though, and doesn't overstay his welcome in Boba this time around. Knows that they're going to be watching for it. So Spirit on the site. The 5v5 retake needed here from VALORANT.
Jean one-off Dimensional Drift could get invested this round if he even needed once again. Ari doing a good job punishing this proactive fighting out of DRG.
Flexin is here to try and help out Ackerman, who's stunned up inside a market, traded back and forth again. Spirit on the site, finding the answers now in a 2 versus 2, jumping on in, Midnight and No. Not the best weapons for it, a Judge and a Guardian, but Flexin's in 1 versus 2, and it's shotgun v shotgun that No wins out. And an even half, 6-6, VALORANT. Kind of in the driver's seat here, potentially with an advantage. This next pistol round we see after this halftime is going to be so incredibly important. Even more important than the one on Corrode here, Zobi.
Yeah, it set the pace for sure. No comeback central here, it's just immediate leads. And at first, Dragon Ranger Gaming was doing so good, just tag teaming utility off of each other. And then Flexin just with that a TP away gets a little bit too disjointed from the rest, has to refight in there, and we hyped up Flexin and his clutch ability. Unfortunately, cannot carry them across the line this time to wrap up the half with that
5
advantage.
HP though, I was believing. I was believing with a 5 HP on No.
Low, yeah. I maybe would have kept the Phantom out. All in all, though, I mean, I'm glad that we're finally getting a competitive series, and I think that holds up then my mentality that, okay, Corrode was that throwaway pick almost for Adam. I think they, again, were more willing to play that than maybe the Ascent, which I would still like to pick the coach's brain into that regard, but in halftime, a little bit of a breather here. So we can look back at the comps. I mean, we mentioned that they're so similar, the Fade versus the Sova. So how do we think the playstyle mentalities, if the compositions are so similar, is going to proc the differences here?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit more aggressiveness from VALORANT in this attacking half. When I compare it to Corrode, we definitely saw that they were a lot more solid in their decision making on the defense side. I'm hoping that continues over into the second half as well, because one of the biggest criticisms that we had for that first map was that VALORANT are just indecisive, could not commit to a site, and they quite often got caught out in mid in their rotations because of that by DRG. So this time around, I just need to see them making those decisions, and we certainly got a better we certainly got a better look of that in the first half. So trends hopefully continuing for them. Attacking pistol round is very, very much needed.
Guren, I mean, highlighted during that halftime. Insane impactful Hunter's Furies. Time and time again in that first half. So we'll be taken towards his utility, especially to shut down players like Bukashu and those trap wires, the shock darts. Outside of that, I do think RA is a little bit more decisive on site execs on this map. It's just once they get on the site, they'll cut noise, they'll kind of terraform the site without planting. And I can't tell if that's going to benefit them or if it's going to hurt them. Because they've been good at punishing DRGs again refights. We saw that on Crowd, right around mid-space. But here, if DRG wins those re-engagements, it could go south. But said it, this pistol's important. It's a great opening kill.
Yeah, lovely response though from Nick, and Flexin with that paranoia. He's been able to do so much. Right click onto Satoshi as well. been able to stay alive, keep himself surviving, but the shot start coming on through, potentially a bit more danger and peril, but Ackerman shuts down No. It's a great start for Rare Atom, but Guran is the one with the kills. He's found 2, but Ackerman running on in, shuts it down. While it did get scary, it's a double pistol round win here on Sunset for DRG.
Ooh, and I liked the opening kill, but then I felt like they got a little tunnel visioned, right? And we talk about how we needed to see their follow through. They kind of got stuck in that top mid link space. I was like, great relay bolt reactionary off the paranoia, and then just suddenly Flexen gets that double kill. And then here again, it just felt like they grouped up and were fighting the players that were rotating over B instead of focusing and trying to fight those players that were keeping them off of the A site. And that's where, again, in the moment, we need that decisive voice, that call to like congregate group and fight towards the objective instead of just to fight in general. Now, I mean, DRG, lighter buy than typical, I'd say, with the most expensive being that Judge and Outlaw, but I like how it's playing off the one way, really close for Ackman. Vikushu, we know, is lethal with the Outlaw, so being that B side anchor makes sense here. And I also like this call, right? I'm guessing it came from Spirit Z1 to reposition around mid space and door.
Yeah, we saw how much Rare Atom like to contest mid on Corrode, and going for a similar remit here. Midnight creeping up mid though with an Outlaw. It's certainly an interesting choice and not one that he walks away from. 5 versus 4 now, DRG.
Oops. Vikushu's time to shine.
The advantage here, and he's got this long-range angle. That's a lovely headshot.
No more.
Unnecessary headshot, but he's going for more kills, and he gets more kills. But, I mean, Rare Atom trying to fight on back. It's Rikashu again. 4-piece in that round, and he just kept on mowing through them.
Wow. I mean, this is the confidence. Like, oh, I hit my first shot. Let's go back in for the classic. And that's his 3rd on the round, right? After 2 insane opening kills. And there's the one that robs him of the ace. Spirit Z1 with the stinger top mid to, again, make sure there's no unaccounted for variables on the back end, like we saw DRG exploit time and time again on their attack half for Sunset. Huge round. A lot of weapons obviously carried over. Again, it's not as strong as we would hope for, and we're not going to see any hero rifle for Spirit Z1 either forced up, so that gives me hope for Rare Atom converting this round, but we've seen more one-sided 50 conversion attempts, I think, this map to convince me otherwise.
Have certainly been quite a
We're doing this again?
few.
3rd time?
Why not? Go for it. Top mid through to Boba, but Vikash is watching for this. The Outlaw doesn't quite hit its mark, and Shorty not quite good at that range. Midnight with the kill, Kuran as well, just a stinger, but able to fight up against Spirit. Rare Atom have the control here. They have the presence. With Satoshi finding that kill as well. 5 on 2. Making a 5 on 1. It's flawlessly taken by Rare Atom. An anti-co, or anti-bonus really, but even still, signs of life that we needed to be seeing.
Yeah, and Dragon Ranger Gaming, right calls there, Spirit Z1. They're pushing you deep from market from Boba, try to take main space, but again, weapon difference. The round doesn't go your way. All in all, I'm wondering then if, because we've seen them go mid so many rounds, yeah, you can credit it to maybe the differences in buys, but curious to see if we'll see any switch up from Dragon Ranger Gaming and how they fight for mid space. For now, the answer is no, and I wonder if we're just going to see Rare Atom continuing to exploit it until they do make that switch up.
Information coming through, but nothing to be gained so far. Rare Atom. 3 players stacking on this B main area while Guran finding a little bit of intel over towards A. Spots out, I think, both players there. Or at least aware of the presence of 2. Now they're heading into the Cypher setup. Hunter's Fury coming on through to try and secure the entry onto the site. Vikashu's still here. He's still surviving, but traded back by that Sova ultimate that I just called out. In their hands, in their control, and No aren't in the spike. It's a 4-on-4.
Yeah, huge risk from Vokushu there. I'm going to take out a backstab player. Now this backside-centric plant comes through. They just want to retake this space.
Ackerman gets the first kill and the second kill. Nick as well. It's now down to Jer. As if, just like that, he's found himself alone. Relay Bolt just to try and waste a little bit more time. And Nick has him through the smoke, even with the Phantom not giving any traces. Just the sound was enough. What? It just all fell apart there for Rare Atoms, Obi.
It was so streamlined. I mean, I saw these really strong backside hold players, and I mean, as soon as we saw Satoshi, I think it was fall their box from the market presence, it's just like they gave up all of that backside space, right? I think it was a gate crash called in by Zhe, like you mentioned to me, where you had to play out the 1v3, and I wish we would have seen more maybe util investment there to hold on to that boba space, like that boba choke, because I think that when you have it even planted for that space, yeah, it's also planted for main because it's tucked a little bit deeper into stairs, but I felt like they didn't win either of the sides of the site they were fighting for, that they got really deep control over off of that Hunter's Fury, right? It almost feels like, and I hate this cliche phrase, that they're like fighting to not to lose instead of fighting to win. That's kind of like when you're in that position, when you've gotten that forward of a line and you have this aggressive double duelist composition, that's when I want to see you fighting into boba space, right? Send a relay pull, send a paranoia, fight forward. Like we saw them doing it right when they had better weapons, right? When you look back to Satoshi and that kill on, I think it was Nick, right? Towards spawn. Do that on the rifle rounds. Take those risks because Dragon Ranger Gaming's not afraid to. Any questions earlier wasn't afraid to.
Yeah, that's the key difference. Something that we've seen from most teams playing DRG in this tournament, apart from perhaps any questions, was that fear. They're scared of DRG, and I mean, obviously it's understandable. This team went to champs for crying out loud, but if you let that fear overtake you, you're always going to struggle. It was something that I noted about Thunder Gaming playing against DRG on this map in the very first day of the tournament. They were giving the site to DRG for free on their defensive side. It was just such a problem for them that they couldn't fight back in, and DRG, I mean, we can see it here, they're not scared of taking that space. Immediately wresting control of A main out of the hands of Rare Atom.
Yeah, I feel like that might have been a little fake out attempt regardless because of the stack towards B, because of how fast they rotated and got back out. But still, I agree. And this is the competition we want to see, but let's see how they remedy this B hold that we saw get deconstructed last time around. Again, it's very familiar post-plant setups, but here, Paranoia in place a little bit more aggressively around the choke, so some change up to that regard. Just when do they trigger it all?
They know Satoshi's here in this corner as well. While the rest of the players starting to try and fight through from Market, and the flank coming through from Flexin. He's behind them. They might not be aware. They've got no clue. There's 1, 2, not the third, but Ackerman and Spirits. That's their opportunity to fight back in. Brilliantly worked from DRG. And again, in a different way, deconstructing that B-site hold.
It's not quite a Forsaken moment, but it's one to rival for sure. Really, really nice play from Flexin. And now I can't even really blame Rare Atom for, right? They had that really strong setup that I wanted to see because of how streamlined the retake has been through Boba, has been through Market out of Dragon Ranger Gaming, and just that backstab was the go button for the side of Dragon Ranger Gaming. So huge call from Flexin there to be like, hey guys, hold, I have the win con play, and then that's when it all collapsed inwards. So Dragon Ranger Gaming reached double digits here. And the only round that Rare Atom has been able to find has been that Dragon Ranger Gaming bonus, so we've got to see this half by kind of convert here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, obviously. But Duran's good for 1, but Spirit says good for 2. A main fight won out yet again by DRG. And potentially Rare Atom can pick up their own upgrades here, their teammates, but just still this Stinger in hand, and Spirit watching for this. Doubled up with Flexin. High-low setup here with the crouches. The smoke is going to be good for it, but Spirit and Flexin and Vukashu all finding the kills, all finding the impacts. And DRG find 11.
Ooh, and that's again just, it feels like a Spirit Z1 round, right? You saw Ackman trying to play together with them, flash a little bit late, but boy, did they keep wraps on it regardless. I did see the confidence signs like we wanted to see out of Adam, though, just how confident they were on the dive here towards Elbow. They got that space. Just unfortunate they weren't able to keep more players alive here, and that we were able to see that really effective trio clash over towards Elbow side. So, ooh, we're rerunning this again?
They're going for it at least. Waiting for it. The blind side out and gate crash quickly towards Ali. He's still being spotted there by Dimensional Drift of Zhe. A-Site is in the control here of Rare Atom, but that smoke is so damn powerful, and yeah, like you said, 5 ultimates available here for DRG. The relay bolt out. Ackerman's been caught, so that's 1 taken away, but Nightfall coming back in. Vakashu with a kill and Neural Theft as well. They want the information. The Spiritsy 1 is giving it to them as well with that Dimensional Drift to come on through. Flexin, no, Nick. Taking each other down. Midnight now left 1v3. Do they know where he is? Well, they do now. He's been spotted. That's the first kill onto Flexin. Spiritso has his number. Map point now for DRG, and on this defense side, they are looking unleashed right now.
Ooh, yeah, I was curious about that. I like the Spiritsy 1 fake out, like, hey, we're gonna fight A main. Just kidding, I'm gate crashing out. And then they play the retake game. I saw the 5 ults and I'm like, whew, I know what's coming. I did like the attempts from Rare Atom understanding, right? From Satoshi especially, like, hey, I have to fight forward. We know these ults are about to come in. The paranoias on the choke were good as well. It's just, again, they had so many more resources banked and ready for that moment on the side of Dragon Ranger Gaming that it was inevitable that that was going to come through. And the fact that they keep the overdrive online here now to combat maybe Guren and Satoshi with their own ultimates could be the key that they need to try and thwart, I would say, another kind of Hunter Fury fueled exec like we've seen.
Flash, Satoshi, again, the opening kills going the way of Rare Atom, but they've not been able to find success off of it. But they need success here, lest they fall 2-0 down in this series. Again, they haven't found some instant immediate control, and they're dipping away from this. Yet more of that indecision potentially plaguing their minds, and the Prowler re-clear towards A main hasn't spotted anyone, so DRG are happy to also send most of their rotations over here towards the B site, and now Rare Atom are fighting in towards the stack. Nick nearly taking down Zhe inside of mid as well. This one is dangerous, and Rare Atom smoke in their face. They're dipping away from it again.
40 seconds, though. I mean, it's a good call based off of what just saw in terms of the fade re-rotation, but again, Flexin is, and his calling is usually on top of things like this. I think we had a call as well from Nick to not to re-rotate.
Okay, market.
Yeah, I am worried that no one has direct eyes on market, but Spiritsy 1 in a really good position here if they don't clear it.
Yeah, and Guran absolutely hasn't cleared him. He's found a second, potentially 3. No, Vakashu with a kill, but 3 in response. It's now 1 versus 2 for Nick. Zhe, 3 HP. It might be enough, but no. It's no there to at least salvage something, but still 4 required. This one is still looking so difficult for Rare Atom, but potentially there's a chance for them, Zobi, with that round win.
A little close again, that indecision we mentioned when they cut noise with just 40-ish seconds left to go. Again, danger around Spiritsy 1, but the trade's effective, leaning in the way of Rare Atom, managing things in the moment, and a risk well taken there by Nono to take the 1v1 to shield Zhe with 3 HP left. Like that, we only need 4 more to get to OT here. And I do feel like they've had fairly successful B takes. It's been the late round conversion that's faltered when Vakashu doesn't pop off. And that might be what we're getting.
God. Oh, Satoshi's found a double though. The Neon popping off, and he's found a 3rd. Ackerman and Flexin now. These ones left, but Flexin, he's teleported behind them.
Not again.
And they still don't know. There's no trip in that spot, but Satoshi might be expecting it. I don't necessarily about this, and Ackerman, he's just holding inside a Boba. Okay, Flexin has been spotted there by Satoshi. He's found 4, but now Ackerman through the wall pops his overdrive ultimate invested, and these last 2 players are so low. They're so isolated from each other. Stunned up, but Guran wins it out, and Rare Atom now with 2 in a row for the first time in what seemed like forever.
Ooh, and Dragon Ranger Gaming feeling like they're getting antsy to close. Great attempt there from Vukashu. That paranoia didn't come through. I'm sure he would have gotten the 2-piece, and Satoshi wouldn't have gotten the 4K. Achman there. Fair, I would say, definitely on the overdrive. I think he was hoping that his teammate would be alive as well to play off of it, but all in all, finally have broken the bank for Dragon Ranger Gaming as well, so should give them a chance at this double digits 10, and that's exactly why they're carrying just on aggressively into this A site. But we've seen how coordinated these retakes can be from DRG towards A. Gotten past all the kill trips for Vukashu here as well. So it's just gonna be, you know, good old 5-on-5 retake simulator and see how it pans out this time around.
To be the most China way to end a map, though, if DRG are able to win it on the anti-eco. And Ashley's gotten a tag onto one, so that's some information, but it's just all from this spot. Jurt pushing up forwards. He's up close and personal with them. Prowler in his face. He's able to deny it. Haunt as well, but Vikashu is there. He's got a Vandal, and he ain't afraid to use it. But Satoshi is not afraid to use his either. It's flexing 1-on-3. Yet again, the last one in the clutch, and he's been able to find one, but 7 health. And these last 2 players dipping away. Tails to the wind between their legs. Flexing, creeping into the angle, taken down. It's no again to be the player with the final kill in the round, and now just a deficit of 2. Rare Atom are starting to climb back from this, but one thing that I'm aware of is I'm pretty sure DRG still have a timeout in their back pocket.
True.
I mean, oh, that's a ridiculous transfer from Satoshi.
I mean,
yeah, they use
there's
it.
your final timeout, but I think Rare Atom had finally struck that balance that we were asking for between having the confidence to fight forward players like Ja and knowing when to fall off, to play for that time, play for that win, like we saw them in that 1v2 against Flexen. And that's what's dangerous here is Dragon Ranger Gaming. Their radar is kind of fluctuating to that degree, and I think that's what this timeout is for. It's for that recalibration. Last one as well before regulation is up, before we get to overtime. I like you not saving it for, you know, the OT round, like make or break. In these last 2 maybe strats through. Again, these rounds have been so close. I feel like the last one was a little bit more under wraps. I think there were some heroics from Flexen, but the 2 prior to that, like one wrong move, one more kill, and it could be us seeing Bind with Dragon Ranger Gaming up 2-0. And Bind has so many question marks for us that we don't even know the codes for either teams.
Yeah, who knows what will happen on Bind. This is just a reminder there. That's DRG's permaban. They've first banned it 6 times. And for Rare Atom, they haven't banned it, but they haven't played it or picked it either. It's always one that's floated through, either decided that they haven't played, or just banned out by their opposition. No. Teleporting in towards the backlines. Well, DRG are going to have to put a question mark into this.
Yeah, this is simultaneously while Zhu was dimensional drifting into the A site, right? And in the meantime, all of this with the TP, they spread themselves so thin because look at the tile spike pick that DRG just did. They just wanted a 1 and done out of the timeout, and they might have just found it.
Yeah, the spike isn't in the hands of Rare Atom, and it's not like they have an Omen ult to teleport back and grab it.
Dimensional drift.
Yeah,
he just used
literally,
it.
Both of those ults that would have been perfect in that opportunity been taken away from them. DRG in a 4 versus 3. No, so low on HP as well. Vikashu, that's that kill. Now 2 against 4. This is a chance for Rare Atom. Toshi looking to try and bait out some gunshots. And, well, he knows that they're still here. Both players now creeping into this, but so many angles to watch for. The relay bolt doesn't connect, but there's the overdrive. 1-2. Spike still not in their hands, but now even out in the man count, trying to fight on in. It's Vikashu to shut it down. Satoshi, try as you might, cannot find the success. And Rare Atom, after not losing a map in this entire tournament, are now on the precipice of not winning a map here in the grand final.
Be the 3rd grand finals appearance that does not go their way. 0-3 the first time, 1-3 the second. We don't want another 0-3 in the books, and they're hinging it all on a map that they have not seen their opposition on, that they themselves have not played this tournament. But to wrap up our chapter here on Sunset, I mean, it really did feel like that Rare Atom got it figured out just a little bit too late in that second half. We talked about playing with confidence, playing like you are here for a reason, that you are at the same level as Dragon Ranger Gaming, regardless of if they were a VCT, a Champions team or not. And there were moments of that in the first half from players like Midnight. Insane anchorage here. You know, there's some insane moments from Nono as well. And then the side swap happened, and it felt like we wanted to see that Jaw, that Guran flare a bit more than we did.
Yeah, the pistol rounds really came into things as well here. A double pistol win for DRG, and the final deficit, just those 3 rounds. So, you know, potentially we go into overtime. Things are played out slightly differently, especially in the second half. It just allowed DRG to really get that springboard going of how they wanted to perform. And you can see in those highlights as well, when they started to get the momentum, it felt like there was nothing that Rare Atom could do to really fight against that. I mean, these kills from Vikashu were ridiculous too. Just everything that this man was doing was ridiculous, but it wasn't just Vikashu. Flexen as well had some massive moments like we see here. Ackerman as well, Nick, when they were needed, stepping into the limelight. Everyone finding success here for DRG, and for Rare Atom yet again in the doldrums. But you know, I mean, hey, in the previous match we saw things go a different way, so let's hear the team comms and we'll get back to you just after this.
要假，你们可以去顶这边，顶这边。Go back，去，go back。对啊 ，I help side，I come back，I come back，I help side。帮你进了，推黑了，我推黑了。这里一个，这帮你一个，帮你一个。架。哇！高一点！哇！好决策，兄弟们！帮点，你帮这个。看吧，祝你安息。左边。啊！你们几个在干嘛？尼克，你包在这里啊！包在这里啊！听我说，那个在那边跟我架这里是什么意思？我在想他会走，他会回 A 角，你知道吗？因为他刚刚不是开大了，他被照了一下，他还在 elbow， 很奇怪。Nice run， 兄弟们，后卫。
Spirits is the MVP. I mean, can you say anything more? This man was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, 5 multi-kills, 256 ACS. I would not argue with that assumption. And while Vukushu also had a number of multi-kills, I mean, some near aces on this map, it was just his consistency here on this map. The dimensional drifts were always on point. We're always cracking sites wide open on the attack. And even on the defense, he just knew where to fight and when on some of these retakes there. And even kind of tracked some of the craziness in terms of Rare Atom and all these top mid antics that they were trying to go for. So very, very well done there. And honestly, I will say, yeah, this is a map where it's like there wasn't a particular standout in my mind for DRG, because we mentioned how every single player was pulling their weight. And on the side of Rare Atom, we were still kind of asking for more from their star player, like Jia. And so I'm still waiting for it.
This can't be a third time in a row for Rare Atom. Surely it can't be a third time in a row for Rare Atom, but I mean, if it's not to be, then they're going to have to reverse sweep this grand final. And that's not something that happens easily. We've seen, I mean, hey, in the previous match, DRG got off to a 2-0 and it went to map 5. So there's still an opportunity for Rare Atom to fight back into this one. But right now, they are still, like, even in that previous match, DRG went 2-0 up, it went to map 5, but they still won out the series. It's going to be so damn difficult for Rare Atom to get back into this game. And we were saying in the map that they were getting into these good positions as well. The round advantages, they had more first kills than DRG did, but even still, it's getting to the sites, the end rounds, where they really fell short. And that's somewhere where we're going to have to try and see an improvement on Bind.
I mean, you saw it. 6 out of 11 post plants, though. So I mean, we know one of the win cons, one of the strengths of Rare Atom is those retakes. So something to keep an eye on, especially for a map like Bind. I think that's more retake-centric, but I am also so curious for kind of Rare Atom put their money where their mouth is in terms of that map pick, because it felt like a major risk to confirm you would play it no matter what, instead of a safe pick like Haven or Lotus that is left to our map 4 and 5 that we might not even see if Dragon Ranger Gaming is able to close this out in 3-0 flawless fashion.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of question marks, but hey, the team that was literally a question mark got eliminated yesterday, so we would just get answers after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, very quickly getting into things again here. Bind, map number 3, potentially the final map here. And Rare Atom, departure from the norm here with a double duelist, double controller. But then you look at DRG and they're bringing along a Reyna? Like, what's going on? What's happening?
I have no clue. I mean, okay, I'll let you dive into Rare Atom a little bit in a minute because that was chaotic during our 3-minute break. But for the side of Dragon Ranger Gaming, the last time they played this was back in August, upper semifinals of VCT China, and they played a Yoru Vice Neon Gecko Astra, which Astra pick I feel like is a little based for this map, a little old, but they're still running a double duelist variation. But Jet Reyna, what are we in ranked? That is absurd. But tell me a little bit about where this composition that we're seeing out of Rare Atom may be coming from.
Well, we have the last time that we saw them play Bind was in the China National Competition. This was from what I can tell, the 13th of July. That we see coming through from them, and we had a completely different composition with Satoshi on the Raze, Jer on the Yoru still, Guran on the Chamber, Midnight on the Sky, and Yihao, who isn't on the team anymore, on the Brimstone. So things switched up a little bit here with Midnight now bringing along the Viper, Nono on the Brimstone instead. But DRG on the attack yet again here, and well, straight away, Jer has taken down Spirit. Reyna not finding impact right now in this pistol round, but Ackerman jumping through here on the Jets, and 2 kills in response, but Satoshi with a frag means it's a 3 versus 3. Equally, though, Vakashi finding the kill, and Jer is still only on 10 HP, so DRG looking really, really solid in their position right now.
I mean, Ackman running you down with a frenzy on Jet, on Bind, nightmare fuel, and I mean, Vukushu, if you fall into midnight, I might have thought this round was winnable from the multi-directional threat, but no. In the 1v2, you can see Vukushu rewrapping from shower to ensure there isn't any 1v1s taken against Nick, who is low HP here. This should be a nice done, dusted deal. There's room if Nono takes, I think, the U-Haul position to isolate this Sky fight, but even then, after that fact, you gotta deal with Vukushu.
They absolutely do. Got a ghost to his name, and Nono just did not know of his position, not aware that he was just inside a short, and yet again, DRG finding the pistol round win here. This time, though, it's Rare Atom's map pick. Not forget. I mean, DRG, they certainly started with some pace. Let's call it that.
We thought it was going to be bumpy with how the opener went up against Spirit Z1, but ultimately the trades come through. It's very, very clean. And yeah, and this comp for Rare Atom feels like it fits their roles and their style a bit better. And we talked about how they were not very well off on Crowd without a Viper, so glad to see Midnight back. But I'm going to be looking towards Guran in this fade. We know he likes the Sova, so this round, though, I do feel like Bind and Confidence go very well together. So the triple walk down A, very, very clean here. I'm curious to see what Vukushu's reaction is going to be once this trapwire gets destroyed, though.
He's looking through cave. Seems to be his pathing, but as that happens, DRG
Can he handle 3,
go
though?
up through B main, and well, it's Midnight and Nono on the side, but Vakashi still finding the kill here. Ackerman is in, meanwhile, on B.
They didn't clear hookah.
No, they didn't, and Midnight's creeping round in elbow. They've missed each other, and the right click in the smoke. Spirit's taken down, but flexing with a trade. Trade comes in, and DRG in 4 versus 3. They've got the guns, they've got the advantage as well, and Vukashi's going for this wrap all the way through CT. Satoshi with 1, but Ackerman for 2 with the Guardian, and that flank wasn't even needed. Just an extra insurance policy there for DRG. They've got some nice ideas on this map, but the composition is still such a question mark to me when we actually get into these rifle rounds, and I also wonder how impactful Spirits is going to be with this Empress, right? When the ultimates come on through. That's my main question here, Zobi, because we praised him for his dimensional drifts. How is he going to be able to get the same amount of impact here with this Reyna ult?
I mean, it's going to be Spirit Z1 go kill, and you just miss out much like you would a gate crash, but for now, Little bonus round attempt. I have liked, though, that Achman has to take on the primary duelist role this time around, right? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts around about it, right? He's not that mischief-managed kind of individual. He has to be there. Entry off his flashes, entry off his util, and fortunately, when you run into Midnight and this anchor utility, that's a little bit more difficult. You are forced back just a little bit more. That respect level gained, but the other side of things, look at the disrespect from Zhe. Again, pushing this agenda. This time it's gone through. Cave has circumvented all these trap wires and should be good for at least a few with this Vandal.
It only gets out with 2. Potentially, Trigger Discipline getting away from him there. Could have potentially waited for a couple more, but even still, he's found the advantage for Rare Atom. They're going for another re-exploration. Spirits is going to get caught there on B, but meanwhile, DRG have found themselves a vacant A site for the spike plant.
Okay. 2v4. Could see a Vukushu pop-off moment here. Oh.
Or not.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's the one that got the weapon back, has Seekers, has a singular guiding light or flash online. He gets one here and gets off the line. Oh, that's unfortunate. This could have been very winnable. It still is, but that paint shell forcing the rear position is dangerous.
Midnight's behind him as well, and I don't think he knows. Just Diffuse is being stuck down, and Midnight, there's the wrap, and there's the kill. That's the round for Rare Atom.
Ooh. Scary for a moment, but ultimately, there it is. Rifles in hand, a round going to Rare Atom. Largely off of Zhe, who I wanted to see more out of, and he definitely just is like, okay, guys, if we're gonna lose, let's lose with no regrets. And so pushing. You didn't have to replay that, bro. You didn't have to replay that. You could have just shown the kill. It's a game. Midnight's 3-2 right now. What do you mean he whiffed? It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on. Okay, Nick, Seekers online. Little judge action for Zhe. Again, pushing A main. I'm waiting for DRG to pick up on these A-side tendencies and look to punish it because we haven't really seen much developments on their side. They're still just playing their own kind of individualistic game. Again, very just kind of following through on the sites they set their initial plan on.
Formation coming through as well, the Trailblazer. The lay route over the top forces Midnight away from the angle that he was watching. He's still persisting here on the backside, and the toxic screen up in the way of DRG. They're stymied for now, and Snake Blight comes on through as well. DRG in, though. They're playing ahead of this, but Ackerman, not aware of Satoshi backside, still able to find one before he's taken out, and Spirit is flanking round from elbow. He's going to have the wrap on here as the teleports come on in. The spike going towards A. But Rare Atom don't know that Spirit is still here.
They needed to keep some sort of noise or presence there, in my opinion.
And the spike is going back towards B. This is perfect. He's going to be able to catch so many of these rotations coming through. Satoshi now caught, taken away, but Midnight there with a trade. That is crucial.
They're going to beat
in a
them there,
3 versus 3. And Rare Atom should win this foot race here over towards the B site.
Yeah, that's why I wanted someone to stay to keep that presence towards A, because now with 12 seconds left, you're fighting up against a Flash, you're fighting up against the Viper util from Midnight, and somehow with 5 seconds just over, they'll still get the plant, they'll still get the advantage 1v2, but it's ever so slightly. 12 HP ope for Vukushu, I would say, if we didn't have a Nick regrowth to top him off. Now, this got a lot easier for Dragon Ranger Gaming to close out.
So, getting into the site, not position known, but Nick is inside of elbow. That's a difficult position to try and clear, and he's been spotted. No is aware that Vukashi's going to be playing from main as well, but just doesn't quite know which place and which angle. Just caught in 2 minds, and Vukashi takes advantage with the kill. DRG stay ahead.
Yeah, I was really nervous about that call back to B. I liked it because they knew and heard that everybody rotated off, but I really wanted Spirit Z1 to wait until Spike was a little bit closer to the site to take that contact, or again, I needed a player like Vukushu to go for the flank on the flank, right? After they already had Spirit Z1 pressuring spawn. I feel like an air wrap would have been perfect. Anyways, all that to say, Dragon Ranger Gaming still win the round off of, again, some really effective site trades that looked like they were going to be the death of them, but... Alright, despite that close loss, despite the eco round here. Again, looking very confident around this double duelist and how they're playing it here on Bind. Crossfire set up, Crossfire escaped. They don't want to challenge that when they see these players rolling up from Fountain.
Dirt still inside a garden. He's been spotted. The flash perfect to get that information.
Nice
and
info.
Spirits with the dismiss just dips on through the toxic screen. Has a little look-see and knows that they're there.
Yeah.
DRG falling back for now. They've still got a minute and they still have the advantage with the guns. They know they don't have to pop just yet.
I mean, you saw Raze on the dismiss. You saw the incendiary come from around Hookah. That's 2 at least confirmed. The big issue here is that where you're rotating is where the hero rifle is with Midnight, and he has a really good position to find similar to what Ja did a few rounds back.
Well, if they don't check for this, the Trailblazer in the way. They've completely missed him. He doesn't know that Vakashi's behind him still. This is ridiculous. He's just let them all pass. This is what a position from Midnight. There's the first kill, but not quite the second. Snakebite out and caught with the util in hand. Rifle now dropped, and potentially the opportunity for Rare Atom to get this round has now gone away from them because it's just pistols, and they get mowed down at the gates by Spirit.
I have no words for that round. I mean, so much potential after... Again, DRG has some really good calling on the rotate to B, but they had really good positioning from Midnight. And yeah, that one I think deserves a Rare Atom timeout. I mean, down 1-4. You had to reverse sweep already coming into things. DRG is running a composition that you probably have no scrim experience against, to put it lightly. And honestly, Spirits, you want just egoing fights, because that's what you do on Arena. And you're winning them. And somehow you're also using it similar to a Yoru in the form of it being the pseudo-initiator. I mean, you get the kill, the easy frag onto Ja in that corner tuck, off the guiding light, and then just dismissing the site for the information. Like, and then calling on it as well, because I didn't even realize that, right? If you look at it, Satoshi had the showstopper as well. So it's not just that they had the 2-person stack, you know, at least on that site after finding a kill, but you also knew that the showstopper was there. So, again, calling away from it, Midnight... I'm surprised, number one, that Vuka didn't get the timing to get the kill, the backstab on him. And number two, I'm surprised that he only gets one there. So all of this to say, I think they're just... Like, what do you do here? Because the ideas have been super creative. And they've been finding, again, early impact like they did on the previous map of Sunset. But, again, the follow-throughs just aren't there.
It is, unfortunately, a bad game from Ja. Being a player that people would have. If Rare Atom win this game, people would have had Ja in contention for the tournament MVP, but been fairly lackluster so far, and starting out here again on Bind with a 3-5 scoreline. Not the worst, but certainly not the best. Especially with your team only finding one round in these opening 5. This operator, something that we were talking about, how good he is with this gun. He's got to find value and impact.
Oh. It'd be difficult with Leers and flashes aplenty outside of B.
Oh my god.
Or you can just double swing it dry with no utility in Dragon Ranger Gaming fashion. Sure, why not? That's the form that they're in right now, being up 2-0 in the series.
Oh my god.
And then sure, add insult to injury, a shot through the smoke. And just like that, they have full dominion over this B site. And yeah, I mean, Nono could invest the orbital strike, but you're playing a 3v5.
Feels like Rare Atom are falling apart at the seams right now, Zobi. Not being a team that's able to put themselves together for this big of an occasion.
What if they save? Look at Vukashu.
Yeah, he's wrapping
He's
an
gonna
A.
just pinch them, and they're gonna exit as well through CT. Like I don't even think they have the option to save here. Like they're just gonna get run down.
Yeah,
and
Nono's
Satoshi
gone.
may think he's safe, but here Vukashu comes. Here Nip comes. Here the entire team comes.
Oh dear, oh no. And you can see when DRG are having fun, that's when they're the most dangerous, and they are having an absolute blast up on the stage right now.
Heard in the team comms last map. It's just continuance. And
yeah.
I feel like the biggest smile is yeah, right here. Every single time. And Wow. Just the entire team is feeling it. I mean, that is an insane kill to get. Like,
yeah.
it just feels
that
like...
one I don't fault Jer for. That's just ridiculous
No.
coming out from Ackerman, but even still, knocked down again onto a weaker purchase.
Don't push their smoke though. They feign the presence, and then they have Zhe without a gun though, and the Viper with a Bucky on the east side. I don't know if a scare tactic play to push them towards the A side is the move here, and all that utility invested doesn't even matter. DRG are just going to re-challenge it, right? They are not scared of Rare Atom to any degree right now.
And they spotted Satoshi in this corner too. It's an easy pickup from Spirit. Dismiss up, trying to gather a little bit more information, but Guiding Light still also finds nothing. No pushing out of Hookah, and now he's been at least heard by Flexen. The share of shots ringing out and echoing across sand. What do you do if you're Rare Atom in this situation? You can't save Sheriffs, you can't save a Bucky, but you just know that this round is going to go DRG's way. You can feel it unless Joe can be able to get something here. Nono's found one, but a shorty up close from Spirit.
Spirit's been re-challenged too. I mean, you have the Empress online. You can take as many fights as you want here. And if not, you have a teammate right at your side. So even though it looks egotistical in the way that they're taking these engagements, they still have that plan B, that backup, right? We still have you double swinging even if it's dry. We still have Flexen backing up the Reyna, who's ego pushing the player that collected a rifle from Vukashu. I mean, we kind of like mentioned this felt like a Rankers-esque composition, but they're still playing it at a world-class champions level, just on the micro level, just the way they're coordinated to a T. The chemistry in the server they have built over the last VCT season in its entirety is on full display.
Yeah,
Vukashu's opping. Oh no.
Yeah, this is a Vukashu as well. We've seen him have some highlight plays today. The Vukashu that they were missing at Paris. Potentially if they had him, they wouldn't need to be here, but they're in this situation. They've certainly been playing to it. Looking set for a 3-0 right now because Rare Atom, they're in the doldrums, in the dumps. Not even the showstopper is able to do anything. The catch comes onto the door frame. Seeker's round, orbital strike to isolate these players. Nono and Gurun trying their best to fight it. Bukashi's on 4 HP, but Spiritsy one on the site with the kill. Back to sight these players, but the neural theft revealing their positions, giving that information away. Yeah, has an operator. It's a tricky spot. With this gun, a sniper rifle. Not ideal for these kinds of moments.
Is anyone who's impressed me with a retake off? It's
well, there you go. There you go. But Vukashu has the oversight here. Dimensional drift coming through from Jer. Gather that information. Flexen spotted inside of halls. Do they know about Vukashu? That's the question. As the incendiary comes on through. That's perfect. Now 1 versus 1. Gate crash on out, teleporting round to the other side, but spotted. Right click. Vukashu cannot be stopped.
Oh, and if the scoreline wasn't a confidence killer, that shot is. I mean, we talked about how low HP Vukashu is in that moment. He has an operator, which is not ideal in the 1v1 clutch, much like Juz was in the retake. I mean, wow, if Rare Atom can't win rounds like that, what rounds can they win? I mean, the 2v2, they were surpassing all odds. And then you just get sat like that. Your star player, too, just out of the air, sniped. Like, yeah, I'm that girl in the crowd, just like, ugh. And that's the second, I believe, Rare Atom timeout, right? And again, they're both utilized in the first half. I think it's every map
They need it. They need it.
Gosh.
Because this is just utter domination from DRG. And again, it's the moment I was said, yeah, Vukashu's been stepping up, and then he does that. If to prove me right, honestly. Just go, yeah, I have been stepping up. Want to see me do it again? 4 HP clutches it out, and Rare Atom, again, cannot find anything from these starting blocks, from these moments. Okay. And, I mean, the M80 of China right now looking to go one further with a third loss in a row. It's the most unfortunate record, I think, you would be looking for, but
some copium for Adam here. After this really late stage timeouts, they've been able to get, you know, 2 rounds minimum. At the better, they've been able to get back to a 6-6. So if there is a maybe not this round, maybe next round we could see it. I'm looking at the bot and I'm like, the copium's dead. No. Okay, let's cook. Guren, Nightfall online. Okay, no. Judge online. Okay, check. Ja, aggressive outside of A main's been really nice. But then again, Dragon Ranger game is just kind of waiting for this. And Guren, you're playing so up close and personal that if you fall here, that night falls out the window.
So risky for Heratum in this round, obviously, just with the Sheriffs. The Judge for Nono, but they keep bringing these shotguns towards A on these eco rounds, and DRG just ignore it completely and are heading up B main yet again. Been their remit these past few rounds. Bashu wrapping through cave. Might get some kind of catch on something here. He's expecting this position, but what a shot that is from Jer. Potentially a chance and opportunity now for Raratum, but Ackerman through the toxic screen has Midnight's numbered. Guran spotted, still finds one. It's Ackerman again to answer back.
Wait, how many of those players were deafened? If they're all deafened, they wouldn't have heard the TP. Someone, though, obviously looking towards Suka. I think they all were deafened. No one's really primed for 3, and the flank is fast. It's so hard to call if anyone would have heard this.
Yeah, they'll know about it now. The blind side coming through from Jer, and from this hookah side, he still gets one. It's Ackerman again. 3 kills in the round, potentially on 4 and ace, but with Nick by his side as well. There's the 4th. Toshi, he's got a Judge in hand. The crowd are chanting for the ace. Obi as well. We want to see it. It would be the first one here of the finals, but Nick looking to try and take it away from him. Either way, the round immediately the 180 to stare his teammate in the eyes.
You know what you did. I know what I did. I'm sorry.
I don't think he'll be sorry.
Still smiles on the stage regardless, but
yeah.
Ooh. I mean,
Raratum
again,
got it close. They got it close,
yeah.
but Satoshi still went for that with a Judge. I mean, I guess where do you find an upgrade, right? But even still. Nick knows what he did.
Yeah, and I mean, Rare Atom, again, they have understanding of certain tendencies in Dragon Ranger gaming. They can handle Vokushu, they know his position, able to get that rifle back, but like, that's about it right now. Okay, wait, maybe we're gonna find like some challenge in main. I feel like they've been waiting for this A main fight, similar to how they've been waiting for A fights on the previous maps that they were able to close out really swiftly. The Dragon Ranger gaming might finally give them what they're asking for. Let's see it, no.
Oh, he's been flashed and he's been taken down. It's just clinical from DRG. 3 kills here at the start.
Thank you for the
Midnight and Guran over on B, now rotating.
Just updraft into heaven, Achman.
To find their teammates here. We're all dead. 2 versus 5. Cashew. Been given this operator, but Trailblazer spotting out Guran's position. They'll know about it. Midnight, though, from heaven at least. Gets a kill. A little bit of doubt in the minds. DRG, though, they won't care. Just falling back, and Raratum know that all they can do is save in this spot. Dipping away, and 9 now on the board for DRG.
Yeah. And I like how this round, right, you saw DRG play a little cheeky, right? You saw Achman getting aggressive, obviously, with Spirits. He won. And then as soon as the heat's at max and the pot's boiling over, they turn the heat back down. Like, wait a minute, back out. We could lose that if Achman also falls. Because then what is it, a 2v3 suddenly? And you're fighting forward. You're playing to win that instead of playing for the save. So,
yeah.
Again, they're definitely playing to have fun right now, and that's visible in the server. And then once they realize, okay, maybe we're getting a little too loosey-goosey, they dial it right back in immediately.
Yeah, this is the power of DRG. They have all that fun, and a fun DRG is always a dangerous DRG, but like you say, they're so capable of just reining themselves back. That's the cooling and flexing at its highest level. Kashi could get pressured here through showers. 3 players looking to swing it. And again, the stack up A short. Might be able to catch something else. The layer comes in. Jert watching this. Pain shells in as well, and Ackerman is now isolated from the rest of his team, but the Blade Storm in his hand, he's still good for one. Nick as well, with a trade on to Jert. They fight on into the site. There's 30 seconds gone in this round, and DRG in the control, in the ascendancy. With all of the pressure, and all the kills going their way, Spirits fighting forward. Midnight is not able to stand up against it, or even find a kill. Double digits already. And DRG looking to bring the heat, bring the sauce here into the grand final. And yet again, we said it, they're setting themselves up for a clean sweep with a 3-0.
Guys, this is the Instaban, by the way, for Dragon Ranger Gaming.
Yeah.
Just a little reminder there.
Yeah, it's the
after,
perma.
what is this? Is this quick math? 3, 6, 7. I think that's 8 rounds in a row. The only round that they have lost is their bonus, the third round of that half. And I mean, it's 10-1 on deciding map to reascend to VCT after you're forced to defend your spot. And they are looking like that team. Nick, first you steal his ace.
What?
Now you flash him into death and almost.
Oh yeah, okay, don't worry. Yeah, I'm blind, I'll still find 2. Yeah, sure, reasonable. Reasonable gameplay.
That's plot armor, what do you mean?
Yeah, at this point. Nono's on the flank here, though. He might be able to get something, but I don't think it's going to matter, because Ackerman's fighting forward. Flexen is watching for this position, and Ackerman again. There, everyone's watching for this to judge up close. Consolation, I suppose. You get 1, but that's also the number of rounds they have in this first half. 11-1, and just the singular defensive round on what has been the most defensive-sided map by percentages at this Ascension tournament.
Hey,
sorry to throw another nail in the coffin there, but just it's looking so difficult right now for Rare Atom to fight back in. But like you say, Zobi, they need the pistol round. What do you do? It's literally plot armor.
Look, I mean, for Instaban, they have such set procedures, right? Even just Spirit Z1 and Flex and how they recruit, it's so standout here. I had to toot the horn there for a little bit because we've seen that before, right? Like that's the second time. But okay, guys, you win the pistol, you win the follow up, and I've seen this before. Lean into the copium, lean into the storyline, and honestly, hey, I mean,
it's map 3 of the grand final, 11-1 down.
Exactly.
Fnatic NRG.
Exactly.
Holy moly.
But also, I mean, a great silver lining here. Maybe this also reads into why Red Atom take both timeouts in the first half so frequently is you get to talk to them during halftime as well. So, and I will say, if this map has shown anything, Ackman's like, hey guys, hey, think of me for MVP, not just Spirit Z1, not just Vikushu. I'm a rookie and I'm still putting up these numbers, right? And I think, right, they were brought up from the academy, right? And like, they're like, I don't want to be sent back, guys. Like, I'm putting in the work here. I want to see them more on Jet. Have they played Jet any other maps? I know they play, obviously, the Waylay, the Neon, but this has been looking nice. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I don't...
You know, with all the nerfs coming to the game, or like, you know, the new patch, I should say, I could see a Jet coming back.
Yeah, and honestly, it'd be a good look for Ackerman, especially when sometimes the Waylay has looked questionable. Clove sometimes isn't maybe the best fit for some maps as well. Yeah, this Jet is looking really, really nice, and he's got his fans in the crowd as well, so that's always good to see. The Ascension win is all he'll be thinking about right now. They're just 2 rounds away from it. A pistol round win here for DRG would effectively confirm the win.
Oh, absolutely. And I'd feel bad for the Rare Atom players, the organization more than anything, since they do switch roster to roster year to year. Yeah. And Midnight would be the second Ascension loss, but also if history tracks, right, most of the players from Rare Atom get reaped to tier 1 teams anyways. And I can rightfully say I think every single one of these players deserves that opportunity.
That's a 4-person high-low as well, by the way.
And then they convert into a TP play. Oh, they're going to TP. Look, they're going to TP back. And then somehow Flexen's going to get like 3.
Oh, yeah. You just know it's going to happen. He's got a classic hit.
Oh,
no. He actually might.
On the smoke off angle, too. Oh!
Never mind. He's been pre-fired. But look at the reclear coming in from short. Midnight is going to have to try and find more, and he's not been able to do it. So now they're fighting towards showers. Cashew, Nick collapsing, isolating. is flanking from behind, but I mean, he might not be needed. Oh, there's a double! But now 2 still left in his way against himself. And DRG lock it down. Map point, match point, series point, requalification point. Every single point you could imagine here for DRG. One step away from getting back into the VCT to becoming the first ever 2-time Ascension champions. And for Vukashu, he will have done it twice. For Nick, he will have done it twice on both of those rosters.
And I mean, that's huge for Vukashu as well, right? A rough upper performance. Oh, we're gonna end it fast. I can't even talk. It's my end right here.
Oh, the spray down.
The force doesn't matter.
It's just completely mowed down. DRG, they just look unstoppable today. They book their ticket back to the top, back where they belong in the VCT. Champions once more. They ascend into greatness.
Wow, and we said it at the beginning of this series. We had no clue of how this would go. We could see the DRG sweep like we just saw today. We could see it being a 5-mapper, but this is the team that went to champions. And Rare Adam, it is so unfortunate to see that performance, that grand finals curse rear its head once again. No trophy to be lifted, no Ascension glory to be found. But I'm sure bright futures for all of them on the path that lays ahead.
It's such a difficult scene to see. These players given it their all this entire tournament, but completely outclassed today by DRG. It just felt inevitable when we saw them in that lower bracket game against ODG, when we saw them fight against the reverse sweep against any questions. They come in today looking like the favorites, and it's not often that the favorites win in the Ascension Grand Final here in China, but that's because every other time the favorites have been Rare Atom. And again, they fall at the final hurdle. That trophy is theirs. This moment is theirs. And an entire year in the VCT is theirs.
And oh, here we go. The trophy they've rightfully earned alongside the spot in VCT China. No one lifting it first, just everybody together. And wow, I mean, after Vukashu couldn't play in champs, after they still had a good showing with Demon 1 subbing in, they come together to prove that they want that second chance at this full roster next year. And honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't make any changes.
Yeah, his 5 is looking good. Vukashu back where he belongs with this lineup as well. And it just feels so good to see it. But I believe the interviews will be coming down shortly, so we'll toss it down to Bidos with the translation.
Coach, how do you feel right now? After like the first match, he was like, he was wondering if he was going to be like very emotional. And he's like, it doesn't feel as emotional as it did like yesterday because it was like too easy, 3-0. What's the biggest advantage of the team? Yeah, it's like everyone's so brave and is so willing to make plays. And what are your like upcoming goals as well? This victory has broken his own curse of getting second place. And it's like it's good to be back to the league.
对于 DRG 来说，其实可以用跌宕起伏来形容的。有机会参与到全年最重要的冠军赛，但是在结束之后还要重新再回来打晋升赛。那这一切的经历对你或者整个团队来说会有什么样的改变呢？
我觉得
And it's like been so up and down for your team. Like, what does it all mean?
我觉得就是我们 们之间经历的东西已经太多了，就在这次是。
Everything like feels more real. We've experienced so much,
你们证明了你们
and
确
we've
实
become
是一个
strong
很
as a
强
team.
的团队。那此时此刻，团队的默契，包括其他方面，你又会如何去评价和形容呢？
And how would you like rate the team chemistry right now?
我只能说 VCT CN 等着我们回来。
等着我们回
It's
来。
like he can only say, "Oh, VCT is waiting for us."
因为从巴黎结束一路走到现在，刚才也说了是非常不容易的。在这一次晋升赛也并不是完全一帆风顺，虽然今天的表现是非常好的，但中间可能也经历了面对 AQ 那一场比赛的挫折。到现在夺得冠军，你们觉得这一路走来可能面临的比较大的困难是什么呢？
What's like the biggest challenge he had during this
我觉
road?
得没有什么特别大的困难，就
一路走来还是觉得比较顺利的。
对我感觉只要我们齐心协
I
力
think,
就没有
nothing in
问题
particular.
是的，从一开始其实大家自信也是非常爆棚的。
对，
那接下来还有什么想要跟观众们说的话吗？拿下来这个冠军。
Anything
我
to
想
say
对
to
支
the
持我们的
audience?
粉丝说，我们没让你们失望，让我们一起回到 VCT CN。
是的，没有让
It's
所
like,
有人
good that we didn't disappoint you guys, and
失望。
it's good to be back to the CN.
所有在观看你们
VCT
比
CN.
赛的观众，你们真的做到了，弗勒辛。作为队内的指挥，我想相比于其他人，其实在更多时候你需要做出一些很艰难的抉择。你也说过害怕因为自己的指挥队伍之后可能没有办法再继续在一起打游戏了。但是今天因为你的指挥，你们拿下了这个冠军。此时此刻是什么样的心情？这个冠军对你来说会不会有特
Or
别？
like because of your IGLing, the team won today. Like, how do you
这段
feel?
时间从巴黎开始嘛，到现在可能自己的表现都不是很好嘛，然后。
And he's like, maybe like from Paris to like now, like his own personal performance hasn't been great.
有个人表现这方面，所以就当自己做的那些功课都派上用场的时候，就带领我们。
And it's like when all of like that behind the scenes work actually pays off.
如释重负的感觉吧。
如释重负的感觉，而且我想今天不光是指挥，你个人的发挥也是非常精彩的，在很多时候拿下了很关键、很重要的残局，而且也打出了非常优秀的表现。那你觉得今天自己的表现怎么样？除去指挥以外
And how do you think you played today?
3-0还说什么呢？能开心点的100分。
100分是的，无论是自己还是
He's like, oh, it's like a 3-0. I'm just like cheer up a bit, like 100
在
points.
现场也来了非常多熟悉的面孔，很多其他队伍的教练呀，包括选手也来到了现场去看大家的比赛，支持你们的比赛。有没有什么话是想要对他们说的？
Do you have anything to say to like all the players, the coaches that came today to watch you
谢谢
guys?
大家一直相信 DRG 吧，我说了 DRG 回来了。
是的，
And he's like, thank everyone for continuously believing in DRG. And like I said, DRG's back.
Hello, Cashew, congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
首先也想问一下 Cashew， 因为其实对他来说，2025确实是会有一些遗憾的。但是此时此刻捧起了冠军奖杯，内心的第一感受是什么样的？同时又想和大家说什么话呢？ And for you, 2025 may have some regrets, but at this very moment, lifting the champion trophy, what is the first feeling in your heart, and what do you want to say to everyone?
It feels good. Me and Nate became first-time 2 Ascension winners, first in the world, so it feels really great. Happy that we get what we deserve, because we were working so hard this recent times, this month was really hardest months in our lives as esports players. So guys, thank you very much for support. Thank you very much for attending tournaments, cheering for us. It's really important for us. So thanks everybody.
对，首先一定是非常高兴的，第2次拿下了晋升赛的冠军。但他同时也想跟大家说，他觉得他们非常值得拿下这一次的冠军，因为在这1个月以来，他们确实付出了非常多的努力，对他们来说也是非常忙碌、非常艰辛的1个月。那对于所有观众来说，最后也是很感谢你们的支持，尤其来到现场为他们欢呼、为他们加油，这对他们来说都非常非常重要。再一次感谢各位观众的支持，大家能不能也再给一些掌声和欢呼声给瓦卡什呢？ Thank you, Cashew。接下来你也是队内最初的成员了。那2023年晋升赛的时候，当时就是通过战胜 RA， 拿下了唯一一个临时的联赛席位。那2年之后又是同样的局势，但不同的是你们这2年的经历。相比于2023年，你觉得那个时候的自己，你还记得是什么样吗？
And do you like did you still remember like how you guys were at Ascension in 2023?
比较多，所以比较平淡，就是没有那么多太多的起伏。
He's like, honestly, like we've like experienced so much, everything feels like kind of like flat, kind of bland now.
我认为现在的 DRG 没有任何一支队伍敢这么说。
是在赛前片子的时候可以看到对方当时确实是比较自信的，但是你们今天也成功通过自己的表现实现了这个3-0。那有没有什么话是想要对身边所有并肩作战的队友们说的呢
And anything do you want to say to your teammates?
我们是一支非常厉害的队伍。 然后我想跟他们一起走进世界的舞台。
想和他们一起。
And he's like, we're a very strong team, and I want to like go to the international stages with you guys.
我们也在这一段时间里看到了你们每一次的进步和表现。那我们期待你们明年更好的成绩。
谢谢。
再一次感谢 Nick 接受我们的采访。接下来也又到了可能非常重要的一个时间段了，大家也知道。接下来我们就要公布一下
Now it's time for the announcement of the tournament MVP.
你心中赛事 MVP 的名字。
换你。
OK， Nick 也在喊。那好，那我们看一下大屏幕，我们本次的赛事 MVP， 恭喜焕玲！同时，正在捧着冠军奖杯的也是你。来，让我们把麦克风交给焕玲。
我不知道，我想说的东西有很多，我不知道我走到这里经历了多少东西。
You guys hear so much to say, he doesn't want to say.
冠军只是我们的开始 ，VCTC 呢？
And then that's just a start.
是的 ，VCTC 我们回来了，我们也欢迎你们回家。那这次夺冠之旅，我想对于你来说也一定是有着最特别意义的。有没有什么话自己特别想要致敬的人，或者说自己特别想要感谢的人，此时此刻想要跟大家分享的
？Anyone you want to thank in particular?
绝对说不完。我觉得在一路上帮助我的每一个人，我都非常的感谢，不管是队友、教练组、家人
Like everyone that's helped me on this journey. Like the players, the coaches, everyone, the audience.
现在的我。
是的，是大家一起成就
Without all you, there wouldn't be me
而且
today.
包括刚才在喊这个赛事 MVP 的时候，你可以一直在旁边大喊你的名字，看来他对你也是一直都很支持。平常是和 Nick 关系也比较好，会经常在一起说一些这些东西。
Nick was yelling your name just now. Or like, what's your relationship?
是的，看到夺冠之后，
we're all just like very good friends.
拥抱在了一起。最后还有什么想对粉丝们说的话？
谢谢。
Anything else you want to say to the audience?
到每个赛场或者是赛事后这样支持我们，十分感谢，谢谢你们，谢谢你们。
Like I really thank everyone that's like come to see us at the arenas.
感谢所有粉丝的支持。感谢 DRG 和 RA 今天给我们带来了这么精彩的一场表现。最重要的是 VCT DRG 回来了 ，DRG。那我们本次的晋升赛到此就全部结束了。再次感谢大家来到我们 VCT 场，我们明年再见，拜拜。
They said it themselves. DRG is back, and I relate, and I'm sure I can speak for all of us that we too want to see all 5 of them as a core on the international stage, since we didn't get to this time around without Vukushu there. So excited for that. Excited for the return to VCT China and Spirit Z1 MVP. We were saying even before this match when we were, offering suggestions, that was our immediate go-to, Charlotte.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He has been incredible, and it's not just that he's finding kills, is that he finds kills in actually impossible spots. We saw some flashes of that today as well, but I mean, in some cases he hasn't even been in those impossible positions because of how well DRG did in just isolating the kills, making sure that everyone was just able to be on top of their game. It was a completely dominant performance here from Dragon Ranger Gaming, and I mean, you can see it there. They are the champions, and Vukushu is back with this team, and this team is back in Tier 1. It feels like if you go to champs and then get relegated, that would have been so cruel. So it's nice that we get to see them return to the VCT next year as well.
Absolutely, in the road show. I hope they get asked if they're excited to travel to multiple cities next year within the region. But all in all, again, shout out to the players, shout out to the staff, like they said during the interview. I mean, prepped even for a map like Bind, as silly as it was and as dominant as it was just a great way, I think, for DRG themselves to close out the series. But with that dominant grand final, Charlotte, that also bring the project Project Horizon 2025 season coverage to a close. We've been here for the full roller coaster ride of a year. It's been an honor to cast alongside you and cover this project.
Yeah, and just again, Project Horizon is an incredible project that's been put together not necessarily by us as casters, although we have some input. We've got to really give the shout outs to Akamask, to Magnum, to Fran for being the people behind the scenes, organizing everything, making sure that things run smoothly, because this has been an incredible project to be a part of. But like you said, 2025, it comes to a close. So we hope to see you all next year for the 2026 VCT season. Congratulations to DRG. And it's goodbye from not just us two here today, but everyone at Project Horizon. Until next time, farewell and thank you for watching.